largest lead of the game. The Boston Celtics suddenly come alive here in the fourth quarter. Celtics lead. And the Boston Celtics with the greatest fourth quarter comeback in NBA playoff history. Welcome back to the Fleet Center. What do the Celtics do for an encore? And can the Nets bounce back? Those are the questions for Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's the Boston Celtics hosting the New Jersey Nets. Hello again, everyone. Along with PJ Carlissimo, Mike Breen on hand. Lewis Johnson will join us shortly. It's obvious in the conference championships, the key is to fall behind by more than 20 early, and you're well on your way to victory. We certainly saw that last night in Los Angeles and here on Saturday at the Fleet Center in Boston. But you can look at it two ways. Great comeback for the Celtics, but a disastrous collapse for the New Jersey Nets. So the question over the past couple of days, can they recover from that loss? Their team leaders certainly think so.
We can't do anything about Game 3. We can only use it as a positive and understand from it.
These guys, I think they have the character to come back and win a game like this.
But it certainly was a devastating defeat. Does it have any carryover, PJ?
Well, the potential's there certainly for carryover, but for Byron Scott, the problem is not going to be Jason Kidd. He's going to be all right. Can Jason's net teammates concentrate on the first 36 minutes when New Jersey played so well and forget that horrible fourth quarter? They've got a great opportunity, Mike, to get back to New Jersey with the home court advantage intact.
Meanwhile, for Boston, maybe the most impressive part of the comeback, they were thoroughly dominated through the first three quarters. Almost like a light switch went on to start the fourth. Who turned on that light switch? Antoine Walker with his emotional speech prior to the start of the fourth quarter. PJ, what was the key to the turnaround?
Well, the key to the turnaround was it wasn't a light switch that he turned on. It was Paul Pierce. Pierce was magnificent in the fourth quarter, playing with more emotion, playing smarter, taking the ball to the basket, getting himself to the free throw line. He ignited the crowd. We got to sit back and be a part of history. It was an unbelievable evening.
Despite that historical win, the Celtics are anything but complacent.
We haven't played a good game yet. We've won these two games with heart and making gutsy plays down the stretch.
I don't think anybody in our locker room thinks that this is going to be anything but a war and maybe for quite a few more games.
The Nets have been resilient all season long. The ultimate test of resiliency here in Game 4. Starting lineups, opening tip-off coming up from Boston. They're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
How'd you find this place?
Yahoo? Wait.
What?
How did you learn how to talk?
Yahoo?
Monday come, we rock the party, gonna get me some. We rock the party. Wednesday rock, we rock the party. Ain't never gonna stop, we rock the party. Everybody rock, we rock the party. Come on, let's rock the party.
Who is it?
Sasha and Denver.
It's time to rock, let's rock the party.
The NBA and WNBA continue to write new chapters to the Read to Achieve story.
Okay, let's read.
With each turn of the page, players and coaches are encouraging families to open a book with their children.
You write this book? All right.
And by donating computers and books to create reading and learning centers, the NBA is helping kids develop a lifelong love of reading.
Read to achieve.
Be a part of the success and Read to Achieve.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold, down, easy. By McDonald's. We'd love to see you smile. By Paramount Pictures' new film, The Sum of All Fears. Starts everywhere. Rated PG-13. By Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. And by NBA Playoffs 2002. Love it live. Fleet Center bouncing already as we get set to start. Martin, Van Horn, McCullough, Kidd, and Kittle is the starting lineup for Byron Scott. Walker, Williams, Batie, Anderson, and Pierce for Jim O'Brien. And we go to Lewis Johnson.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Well, locker rooms are where all of the final preparations are made, and I walked into the Celtic locker room this afternoon, and check out what I saw. It was a coach at work. Look at the clock on the wall. 4 o'clock this afternoon, about an hour and a half before tip, and Jim O'Brien is going over what coaches call their pregame edit on his $25,000 digital video system. Now, O'Brien told me he did not look at just the fourth quarter, which was unbelievable, and he did not just focus on the first 3 quarters, which were horrible. He said that he uses the video to emphasize the positives to his teams just before the game. But we all know that O'Brien wants a more balanced performance today. And you know, guys, between this series and the Western Conference Finals, hey, I think we're all low on our heart medication. What do you say?
I agree, Lewis. Preparation always a key, of course, for Jim O'Brien. Now, this is our Bureau warning of the day. If anybody gets up by 25 or more in the first half, please do not switch off your television.
3 touchdowns is not a good enough lead in the finals.
PJ, we talked about the Nets and their recovery. How about the Celtics? How did they recover from such an emotional game?
Well, I think Jim O'Brien has to be equally concerned. They celebrated. You couldn't feel more pumped up than they did the other night. They got to make sure they take care of business this afternoon because the home court advantage is at stake.
The home court was an advantage in Game 3. A huge advantage as Eric Williams nearly stole it. Still New Jersey Bull. One of the things the players talked about after the victory, the Celtic players, was the fact that even though they were down by 26 late third, the fans didn't leave. They stayed, and then they got a chance to witness that great comeback.
And the fans let them know. There was a little bit of booing early. They let them know they thought they could play better. They did respond.
Kenyon Martin misfires, and Walker with the rebound. Walker the runner. Tony Batie keeps it alive, but Kidd does a good job getting it away. The pass ahead to Kittles. Good transition defense, but Kidd for 3. And Jason Kidd knocks down the 3. New Jersey shooting just 17% from three-point range in this series.
Well, three-point shooting is not the New Jersey forte, but pushing the ball up the court quickly is.
Kidd came into the game 3 of 17 from downtown through the first 3 games. Eric Williams hop step strip. Ball lost out of bounds. Last touch by Martin. Celtics ball with 7 on the shot clock.
Well, the quick push is there from the New Jersey Nets. Good look by Kerry Kittles. He was double-teamed. He finds his backcourt mate.
Pierce on the floater. Well, perhaps continuing how he left off. It has been a struggle for him for a good part of this series, shooting the basketball, with the exception of the fourth quarter of Game 3. Walker, the steal, but he can't control it. Kerry Kittles, Kidd another 3, and knocks him down again. Well, we noticed yesterday the calm demeanor of Jason Kidd, the confident demeanor of Byron Scott. That stuff filters down to the rest of the team.
Well, it does, but again, Jason Kidd, I was never concerned that he'd show up and bring his A game today. I'm not so certain about his teammates.
Blocking foul called against Jason Kidd. Byron Scott giving Dick Bavetta an earful. Let's check and see if it was in the restricted area.
Kerry Kittles again with the look. Couple of threes, Kittles with the assist. What Dick Bavetta said, you could see him signaling to Byron Scott, is that Jason Kidd was moving. He didn't have his feet set. It wasn't a question of where it was. It was a question that he wasn't established.
So Kidd picks up the foul, and Paul Pierce, who has taken 48 free throws, that's 16 a game so far in the series. And of course, he was successful down the stretch in the fourth quarter of Game 3 after struggling most of the series.
Well, the New Jersey game plan is not to let Paul Pierce get his feet set and shoot the ball without driving it. They want him to put the ball on the floor, and they want him to drive into helps, into double teams. With that kind of philosophy, you're going to give up some free throws, but they're willing to trade that for not good looks.
So Pierce with all 4 of the Celtic points. Jason Kidd all 6 of the New Jersey points. Kittles, who had a strong first 3 quarters, but a real rough 4th quarter. They'll need him to get on track. Keith Van Horn for 3. Van Horn rattles it in. And the New Jersey Nets 3 for 3 from downtown.
Who said that that wasn't their forte, my three-point shooting?
They have really struggled from there. Quite frankly, they've been awful from that range in this series, but perfect thus far. Pierce for 3. And Kidd the long rebound. Kidd's such a wonderful rebounder. Maybe the last thing you talk about in his game, but one of the most important.
He's a great rebounder. He's got a great knack for the ball, and he's strong, and he's always going to find loose balls and long rebounds.
Turnovers have hurt the New Jersey Nets on offense. They've been a little impatient. Kenyon Martin, not a good shot. That one hurt the backboard. Here comes Kenny Anderson ahead to Walker. Walker for 3. Celtics getting into the act.
We've got more three-point shots made today than we had all day on Saturday.
Pierce on Kittles for 3. And the Nets now 4 for 4, including Kittles' first three-pointer of the series. He had been 0 for 17.
Well, each team only had 3 three-pointers on Saturday.
It is impossible to predict what's going to happen in this postseason. Just when you think you have something figured out. New Jersey by 5. McCullough inside, draws the foul, count it, and 1. And Todd McCullough on a good entry pass from Keith Van Horn has a chance for a three-point play.
You talk about unlikely guys. Kerry Kittles, who shoots 40% in the regular season, that makes him 1 for 18 in this series from the three-point line. Now Todd McCullough with a chance. New Jersey's only scoring in threes, Mike.
Walker picking up that foul. Kittles finally able to break the ice on the three-pointers, and an 8-point lead for New Jersey. Jim O'Brien yesterday at practice, he told us that he spent the first minute telling the team how proud he was of their fourth quarter comeback, and the rest of it telling them how bad they were in the first 3 quarters. Williams point-blank range, can't get it to go down. Here comes Jason Kidd. Kidd again. That one won't go, and Tony Battie gets the rebound. Pretty quick pace. Both teams like to go at this pace as Kittles nearly comes up with a steal, but it favors New Jersey, would you say?
I would say it favors New Jersey, but the one thing Byron Scott is concerned with is that they don't take good shots. He doesn't mind if they shoot quickly as long as the looks are good looks.
Kittles passes up the 3, gets a better shot for his teammate, but Martin can't put it in. Speaking of good guards in terms of rebounding, Pierce also has excelled in that in the playoffs.
Even when he struggled from the field, he's helped in other ways.
Anderson, tough shot. McCullough's presence perhaps altering it. Celtics again get back on defense. Transition defense, one of the keys when you play New Jersey. Jim O'Brien constantly emphasizing it with his team. And a whistle and a defensive 3 seconds called against Boston, so a technical foul.
Boston started off Saturday the same way with looks in the paint, Mike, but they weren't able to finish. Part of the reason is aggressive defense. Kenyon Martin doesn't get a block, but he forced Eric Williams to pump once. That caused him to miss the shot.
So Jason Kidd off to a good start with a couple of threes. Will hit the technical. Jim O'Brien received a lot of phone calls of congratulations on the victory in Game 3, including Rick Pitino called him.
Rick was watching, I believe, out in Hawaii, and I know how happy he feels for the success Jim O'Brien and a lot of his former players are enjoying.
A 7-0 run right now for the Nets. And a foul call against Rodney Rogers. Rogers, who hit some clutch free throws in the 4th quarter of Game 3, picks up his first. And that's the second team foul for the Celtics. So New Jersey coming out strong, much like they did in Game 3. Van Horn can't hit that one, and Anderson gets a running start. Shuffle pass pass to Pierce, deflected, but a foul. Kenyon Martin and Kittle's trying to converge, and they call it on Martin, so Martin picks up his first.
Kenyon Martin gets his money's worth on the fouls, and I like that. You don't get a layup when Kenyon Martin's on the floor. Paul Pierce goes to the basket, back to the free throw line.
Martin, by the way, has fouled out of 2 of the 3 games so far in the series. He's always a physical player. Pierce misses. Log on to NBCSports.com for in-depth playoff coverage. Steve Jones and former NBA coach Matt Gukas providing analysis on the conference finals and focusing on the key matchups. Plus email Bill Walton your playoff questions. Check out his latest mailbag on the hottest topics of the postseason. It's all at NBCSports.com. McCarty is in. And Pierce, he's still not right at the free throw line. Yes, he hit most of them in game 3, but he's not where he was.
He's thinking about it, Mike. I think it's just that. It's not the mechanics. When you start thinking about it, it doesn't matter how good a shooter you are, it affects your performance.
Bill O'Brien going to his bench early with Rogers, Delk, and McCarty. Kittle's the 3, knocks it down. Kittle's 2 for 2 from downtown after going 0 for 17. And Jim O'Brien wants a timeout. For the second straight game, the New Jersey Nets off to a superb start. And Kerry Kittle's part of a 10-1 run.
This is too good a look. Kerry Kittles, I don't care if he's missed 17 in a row, shot 40% from the three-point line in the regular season.
And the Nets 5 of 7 from downtown to start. They lead by 11.
The legend was born in 1965 in the storied swamp of Florida, and as befits a legend, it began with a searing question.
Coach asked why we didn't go during the game.
The players weren't adequately hydrated, and their performance suffered.
As the Gators marched through the season, they drank a carbohydrate electrolyte beverage created by University of Florida doctors.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
In conditions that would make a salamander sweat, the Gators thrived.
Those boys drank that stuff and they became a second-half team. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
In 1967, when the Gators won their first Orange Bowl, Gatorade had arrived.
Today, Gatorade is the most researched sports drink in the world.
And it continues to fuel champions wherever they're found. Humbly born on the hard-scrabbled gridirons of Florida, proven by generations of athletes. And just as the games never end, so the legend continues.
Afraid to face your retirement plan? Sun America can help. Just ask your financial advisor. Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Take him down and back, please.
Oh, now that's a beautiful creature, Tom.
No doubt about it. This one has got champion written all over him. This could be the year for the standard.
Hello.
Oh, dear. That's definitely going to cost him.
Sign up for Singular Nation and never pay long distance, never pay roaming. Plus, get 3,500 night and weekend minutes.
Is your retirement plan under attack? Sun America can help. Just ask your financial advisor. Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Jim O'Brien wanted the timeout, or Lewis Johnson tells us what he talked about was challenging shots, especially three-point shots, because the New Jersey Nets have come out on fire. They're 5 for 7 from 3. Jason Kidd gets them going right away. Keith Van Horn, that's a welcome sight. And Kerry Kittles, who had been struggling, he's back in the fold. Byron Scott has exactly the start he hoped for tonight.
They've not been a good three-point shooting team during the postseason. In fact, out of 16 playoff teams, they're 16th. During the regular season, they weren't one of the better three-point shooting teams, but it's certainly a key to their start now. Pierce double, Tony Delk, a wide-open 3, and Van Horn the rebound. Or at least New Jersey, they've answered the first question about recovery from Game 3. They've come out strong once again. A lot of people think that it'll come into play more so in the fourth quarter if they have a double-digit lead and start thinking about that. But right now, they're playing beautiful basketball.
No, they are, but I'll tell you what, Byron Scott's not going to mind. If they get another 21-point lead to deal with in the fourth quarter, I think he'll feel pretty confident.
Right now, he's got an 11-point lead in the first quarter. Pierce blocked by McCullough, knocked off his head out of bounds. And it's still going to be Celtic ball, 17 on the shot clock.
No free trips to the basket. New Jersey is really challenging shots inside. Paul Pierce goes in. Todd McCullough with the rejection.
Byron Scott, when asked what was the difference in the fourth quarter, said we stopped guarding. Plain and simple. Walker draws the foul. Sarcastic cheer from the Celtic fans. And Walker will go to the free throw line as McCullough picks up his first. He was so happy, Byron Scott, with the defense through the first three quarters. And we raved about it, how well New Jersey was playing defensively. But then in the fourth quarter, he felt they got tentative, and he used the S word. He said they were soft.
You can't play better than New Jersey played for the first 36 minutes on Saturday, but they got back on their heels and they lost their aggressiveness. They turned it over. Yeah, that was the problem. They didn't shoot it well. Major problem. None of that would have mattered had they continued to defend, and that was what I think upset Byron Scott the most. They got soft on the defensive end.
With maybe the exception of that man you saw sitting there, Aaron Williams, who had a strong fourth quarter, really the only net to do so.
The rest of the team was 1 for 18 in the fourth quarter if you take out Aaron Williams.
Dan Horn for three. Too strong, but McCarty's tip goes right back. Pierce knocks it away. McCullough comes up with it, knocked away inside. Good hands from McCullough. And they have those terrific hands we talked about around the basket. So solid.
Second chance opportunities. They got a miss out of Keith Van Horn, but the Celtics couldn't come up with the rebound.
And an easy one that time for Paul Pierce. Pierce with 7 points to start off. Chance of defense. And did he call timeout? Did he lose it out of bounds? Yes, a timeout. So a 20-second timeout will be called by Byron Scott. Now it's going to be a full timeout.
Talk about soft hands. You see, it's deflected, but McCullough reaches down, gathers himself. He's bigger than everybody else on the floor. Right back up.
He wasn't allowed to dunk when he played in Winnipeg. Wasn't allowed. So he learned how to play around the basket. That time it came in handy.
You don't fight Russia and America. You get them to destroy each other.
In 4 days.
The Russians just blew up one of our aircraft carriers. It wasn't the Russians.
Who else has 27,000 nukes? The guy with one I'm worried about. From the best-selling novel by Tom Clancy.
A neo-fascist bought an A-bomb on the black market.
Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman, in the summer's most electrifying thriller.
The bomb is in play!
The Sum of All Fears. Directed by Phil Robinson. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday in theaters everywhere.
All right, guys, bring it in. Bring it in. Hey, where's Billy?
He's sick. He's our best player. Yeah, we can't play without him.
Come on, it's gonna be okay.
It's for the championship, Coach.
It's gonna be a lot of other games.
Hey, I can play.
Do you know how?
I'm not bad.
He's tall. What do you think? All right, let's go! Hey, if we win, we get to go to McDonald's. So don't play.
Oh, credit card bill. There's interest rates. Just get a Capital One no hassle card. Lowest fixed rates you can get. So who's getting rich off my credit card?
Someone living large off your interest payments? Get a Capital One no-hassle card. It's got the nation's lowest long-term fixed rates, no balance transfer fees, and no telemarketing.
What's in your wallet?
Yeah, where'd you go last night?
We will party hard.
Nowhere.
NBC this summer's new and different. Spy TV's back every Tuesday. You've never seen hidden cameras do this, like our valet Parker. And see you later, Mom.
My son's in that potty.
And these ladies show up to fix your car.
Do you have a jack?
Spy TV, NBC Tuesdays this summer at 8, 7 Central.
Byron Scott's so happy is this kind of effort on the defensive end. There's no easy looks. The hands are reaching in. They're contesting shots, sometimes even taking a foul. It doesn't matter. The edict has been sent. No easy looks for the Boston Celtics.
This game's starting very similar to Game 3, with the exception of New Jersey hitting all those threes, but the same thing, playing good defense, Celtics struggling from the field, excellent ball movement, and unselfish play on offense for New Jersey.
3 for 21 in the first quarter on Saturday for the Boston Celtics. They start 3 for 11 today, but you have to credit New Jersey's defense for being a large factor in that poor shooting.
McCullough sits. Byron Scott puts in Aaron Williams. Pierce picked up that foul. That's his first third-team foul. As we come up on 5 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Aaron Williams, just a superb game. Game 3. Kittle's another three. That time off the mark. A little off balance that time. Williams with the rebound, and he draws the loose ball foul. It goes against Rodney Rogers. And Rogers, nope, they checked that. It's on Walker, and Walker has picked up his second. Rogers trying to say it was him. Walker pleading his case. But Antoine Walker now with 2 fouls.
It's early, Mike, but already New Jersey getting a hold on the boards. Rebounding has been critical in this series.
Nice backdoor. Kittle's, though, defended. And Martin shut off. Aaron Williams. Van Horn inside, spinning. Blocked by Pierce. Van Horn again. And the second effort from the New Jersey Nets.
Jim O'Brien and the crowd are upset. They wanted an offensive foul. I think Duke Callahan, the official, felt Paul Pierce was standing underneath the basket.
Mike Callahan, Dick Bavetta, and Tom Washington, the officials this afternoon. Shot clock down to 7. Martin on Walker. Rogers gets it inside. Kidd came over to help, but wasn't there in time.
Beautiful entry pass. Antoine Walker, we know he averages 5 assists. People don't realize what a complete basketball player he is.
Williams left open, way off the mark. That's a little bit out of his range. Walker, the good rebounder. Again, that's an underrated part of his game. Knocks it down.
As your basic power forward, he makes an entry pass on one end, gets a rebound, leads the fast break, pulls up and knocks down a jump shot.
All Jim O'Brien wanted to talk about was his leadership and what he did with that emotional talk in the huddle, but you forget that the guy can just do about everything on the court in terms of skills. Nice feed. Oh, Aaron Williams with a perfect pass. And Kenyon Martin slams it down.
Kenyon Martin was up so high, he celebrated after he dunked and before he came back to our level.
An impressive start for the New Jersey Nets. Pierce doubled. Dangerous pass.
Because it was a good, quick double team.
Shot clock winding down. Walker launches another one. Well short. Kidd. The bounce pass to Martin. New Jersey moving very well without the ball on offense. And Van Horn has to call timeout.
Byron Scott can't be happy with that. You never want a turnover, but you don't want to be trading timeouts. It's the second timeout they've traded.
So the Nets have to take one. This is a 22nd timeout. Kenyon Martin, though, with the explosive move on the perfect pass from Aaron Williams. New Jersey with a 10-point lead, just over 2.5 remaining. First quarter of Game 4.
They say if you want something done right, do it yourself. And now, DIY Kansas City shows you how.
The romance, the beauty, the world of Ralph Lauren. Polo.com.
New Jersey Nets, the strong start. Byron Scott reminded his team of the Boston Massacre. 1985 finals when Scott was on the Lakers. They got blown out by 34 by the Celtics in Game 1 of that series. And he reminded his team, we won that series. So it's easy to bounce back. Of course, different scenario in terms of the type of game and the type of loss, but still a devastating loss nonetheless that they were able to recover from and win a series.
There's no question Byron understands, but the reason he had to remind his team is some of them were only 4 or 5 years old at that time. So I don't know. I think they learned themselves from what happened on Saturday. They're ready to bounce back.
Van Horn throws it into what would have been the third row, with the exception of some good hands along press row. Second turnover from New Jersey. Turnovers have been a problem, nearly 18 a game for them.
Been a major problem. They're 15th in the league, right in the middle, but they've really turned it over against Boston. They averaged almost 20 in the regular season, and it's hurt them already in this series.
17.7 turnovers a game through the first 3 games. Good recovery from Jason Kidd, giving Aaron Williams time. And that's the beauty of Kidd's defense. He's just so good at doubling and then recovering back to his man.
He's a great help defender, but he's so aggressive. He can guard his own man, and he can help his teammates.
That's what Van Horn always says is the thing that most impresses him about Jason Kidd is his help defense. Here somehow finds Kenny Anderson. Ball knocked loose. And Richard Jefferson, who just checked in, able to get the rebound. Kidd splits the defenders. Aaron Williams and one. Aaron Williams, his first bucket. And New Jersey back up by 12. And Tony Delk picks up his first.
Mike, you make a great point, but I think if we talk to 11 of his teammates that all say something different, Aaron Williams might say, I love the way he gets me the ball on a fast break. Always at the right time. All I got to do is catch it and lay it in.
Well, that's what Jim O'Brien told us. He said Jason Kidd is a great passer because when he throws the ball, he passes it at the right time with the right touch at the right height.
So often it's when you throw the pass.
2 minutes remaining in the quarter. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Opening period of game 4. The Nets have certainly responded. Pierce with his maybe best start in this series. He's got 9 points, 3 of 5 from the field.
Richard Jefferson made him work to catch it, but he didn't pressure him enough. He's got to make him dribble the ball before he shoots it.
Pierce had a pretty good start in game 1, but since then he's been very erratic. With the exception of that fourth quarter. Harris draws the foul, a 2-shot foul. So more free throws coming up as Delk picks up his second.
Tony Delk, everybody thinks of him as instant offense and the way he shoots and scores points in those quick bursts, but he's a very good defender, particularly full court, Mike. You can send him out there 94 feet. He can really guard the ball well.
Harris knocks down the first free throw. Walker getting the breather with the 2 personal fouls. Walker was off to a good start at 6 points early. And the lead back up to 12. Minute and a half remaining in the first. Similar scenario from game 3. An excellent first quarter from the New Jersey Nets. Tony Delk steps back. That's a 2. And Pierce gets the long rebound. Pierce fires away. Of course, one of the keys to his fourth quarter was not settling for threes, taking it to the basket, drawing a lot of fouls.
No, I know, but he's got to take the threes when they're there. He's too good a shooter, but he adjusted in the fourth quarter because he was struggling.
That is a great pass from Aaron Williams. Lucius Harris, the beneficiary. And it's a 14-point lead. Final minute of this impressive first quarter for New Jersey. Anderson wanted to call timeout, but that's the new rule from a few years ago, where if you go across either the sideline or the baseline and up in the air, you can't call a timeout.
No, it doesn't matter if you call it before you hit the ground. If you've already broken the plane and you're out of bounds, Dick Bavetta said, too late.
Jason Kidd, bad pass, turnover. Pierce ahead to Delk. Delk inside, Rogers on the follow. The T has it knocked away, picked up by Rogers, and he's fouled. Rodney Rogers aggressive on the boards. He'll shoot a couple as Kenyon Martin has picked up his second.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but the effort was there, and Jim O'Brien will take that effort every time. Celtics struggling again, but at least they're trying to get back in it a little quicker than they did on Saturday.
So 2 fouls for Martin. Rogers, meanwhile, was perfect from the line in this series, 10 for 10. And in the playoffs, he's only missed 1, 20 of 21. So excellent numbers from Rodney Rogers.
6 for 6 in the fourth quarter on Saturday.
as the Kings back at Arco host the Lakers. Lakers and the Kings tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, plus Game 5 of this series on Wednesday night at 9 Eastern, only on NBC. Robert Horry does it again. Just an amazing finish.
Well, I'll tell you what, when that ball was in the air, everybody watching and all the people there knew where it was going to end. Robert Horry loves that situation.
One of the reasons he's got multiple rings with two different teams. Two with Houston, two with L.A. Harris off the mark. Ball knocked loose. Eric Strickland in the game for Boston. Kidd for three. Way off the mark. And that will end the first quarter. Another strong one for the New Jersey Nets. You see in Game 3, they came out of the gate strong, led by 15 points. And despite that disastrous collapse at the end of that game, they bounced back very well, at least initially. First quarter complete here at the Fleet Center in Boston. Celtics leading this best-of-7 series 2-1, but 5 3-pointers catapulting the New Jersey Nets here early, and they lead by 13.
They say if you want something done right, do it yourself. And now, DIY Kansas City shows you how. Each week, DIY's experts tackle a wide range of household projects, from home improvement to gardening, from cooking to automotive. See something you really want to try? Then log on to our website. Download a list of supplies along with step-by-step instructions, and you're on your way. DIY Kansas City.
Sunday mornings at 10 on NBC 41.
Against evil.
Get me undercover, brother.
One man.
What's going down?
Is willing to do whatever it takes.
Would you like to be my friend? That's White She-Devil.
Get him! On May 31st.
Come on, baby, come on.
Pull up a chair.
Hey. Woo! Woo, baby! Look at that.
Undercover Brother, rated PG-13, at theaters Friday.
Imagine what you would do with an extra $100 a day. Well, if you sign for your purchases whenever you use your Visa check card, you could turn fantasy into reality. Because each time you sign, you'll be entered to win $100 a day for a whole year. Imagine that. The Visa check card, it's everywhere you want to be.
What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole.
Introducing Cool Contact Towels from Old Spice. Cool down anytime, anywhere.
I swear I was falling in love.
New Cool Contact. Splash one on.
Next Sunday, Teresa Weatherspoon and the New York Liberty host Sherry Sam and the Miami Soul in a playoff rematch. The WNBA on NBC next Sunday, noon Eastern.
13-point lead for New Jersey. Boston struggling again. Of course, they came back with that great fourth quarter comeback in Game 3. The emotional speech from Antoine Walker in the huddle prior to the fourth quarter. Walker told us that the way things were going, he needed to say something to his teammates.
I felt at that point that the team, we wouldn't get no respect, and they had rightfully so to be excited and enjoying themselves. They were destroying us in every aspect of the game, and I just told the guys, I said, if we plan on winning this series, we got to somehow come out this fourth quarter and make a run. I didn't know if we can win the game, but I knew if we made a run and made a statement that, not giving them easy layups, foul them hard, make them earn everything, that we can gain some respect.
He gave us a feeling yesterday, he really wasn't sure they were going to win, really didn't think they could, but it was more for the big picture. Hey, if we want to win the series, we've got to send a message. Turns out they won the game.
No, we had that right, Mike. We talked about that. That was important that they get back into series. I don't even think anybody dreamt at that point they were going to win it. But guess what? They forgot the lesson because they haven't brought it this afternoon.
Same start as in Game 3. Pierce, though, with a different start than Game 3. He's got 11 points already.
Paul Pierce is focused, and I think he's recognizing now when that double team is there, he's got to pass it quickly.
Another turnover. That's their fourth. Harris just launches it into press row.
Byron Scott's not talking about it a lot because I don't think he wants to plant the seed in his player's head. Turnovers are killing him.
Anderson misfires. Williams the rebound. This has been a problem throughout the series.
All year, but in the fourth quarter, they had 6 turnovers. Boston had none.
And there's another one. 5 turnovers for the Nets. Good transition defense from Jefferson. Anderson will give it another shot and shut off again. Here's Strickland. Bad pass from Strickland, who has not played much in this series, but with Tony Delk picking up those 2 quick fouls, he's getting some minutes.
Jim O'Brien believes in setting a rotation, and you have to give players minutes if they're going to be effective. In other series, Eric Strickland was important. So far this series, he hasn't been.
Now, Jason Kidd sits down. Anthony Johnson, who's been the backup point guard and has played solidly, not in the game. So it's Kittles and Harris in the backcourt. Aaron Williams tries glass, and Strickland the rebound. Strickland, a player with the football mentality, a superb defender. Walker for 3.
You could almost see Antoine Walker, Mike. He was kind of steaming, sitting on the bench. He wanted to come in and get involved right away.
Walker's got 9. That's the second three-pointer for the Boston Celtics. Jefferson, the T, does a good job shutting him off. Strickland with the steal. 3-on-1. Nice pass and a foul. Kittle's got him on the arm. His first, and Walker will shoot 2.
The story was the defense. Tony Bettine made that play. It caused the steal, generated the fast break. Antoine Walker's got a smile on his face, and well, he should. He gets back in. Great job running the floor by Antoine Walker. Strickland lays it back to him. Eric Strickland found him on the previous play. 3-point shot he cashes.
Walker knocking down the first. So Strickland getting some minutes. Strickland in his 6th year out of Nebraska. Wasn't drafted. This is his first year with the Boston Celtics. And he played a lot of minutes early, but when they acquired Tony Delk, his minutes are really cut. But what Jim O'Brien has liked is when he's had to call on him, and it has not been that much, he's been ready.
He's aggressive. He's a physical defender. He's not afraid to step up and take shots. I like Eric Strickland.
Celtics come out strong here in the second quarter. A 7-0 run to begin the period, and they cut the lead to 6.
Lakers, Kings, pivotal game 5 tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Introducing the 160 horsepower Civic SI from Honda. You'll know it when you see it.
Well, welcome back to the P. We're about to get real funky up in here right now with this brand new Stone Cold groove entitled The Funk Ship.
Well, back in 1975, you know the funk is the vibe. Just like back in the day. Lord, I like the way y'all play. We're gonna go way down. We're gonna funk everybody. We're gonna funk everybody. With right, turn me loose on. You know I got to get turn loose on.
You are the future to the funk. Mr. Powers, look. There's Britney Spears drinking a Pepsi.
Oops, I did it again.
That's not a Pepsi. It's a Pepsi Twist, man. And that's not Britney Spears. It's a man, baby.
Austin, it's me!
I want this wig! Come! Oh. Fair enough.
Pepsi Twist and Diet Pepsi Twist. A twist on a great thing, baby.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by the all-new high-performance Civic SI from Honda. By NikeBasketball.com. By Pepsi Twist, Pepsi and Diet Pepsi with a twist of lemon. And by Capital One, who asks, what's in your wallet? Of course, the Boston Celtics, the most successful team in NBA history with all the titles, both coaches and players. Casey Jones won some as a player and as a coach, and he's with Lewis Johnson.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. I found Casey Jones sitting here by Red Auerbach and some of the other Celtic greats. Sir, after Game 3, I asked Antoine Walker on the court if he was inspired by the 16 banners that we see hanging in this building. I'd like to know if you were inspired by the performance that they put on in Game 3.
Oh, no question about that. I'm at home watching this, and I saw that comeback. That is one of the most fantastic things I've seen. Down 26 points, and then they cut away at it and get back into the ball game and go ahead and win it.
When you think about all the greatness that the Celtics have had through history, it looks as though this is almost a new franchise beginning to rewrite its own history. What are your thoughts on that as you sit with some of the other Celtic greats?
Well, we've been away from the playoffs so long that this is actually one of the great times for the Celtics, because now they've gotten back into it with confidence. And look where they are now, a chance to be in the finals.
Sir, thanks so much. Enjoy the game.
Go.
Mike?
Antoine Walker enjoying the game right now. He's got 13. You know, Lewis mentioned Red Auerbach. Coach Auerbach actually stated that he was thinking of leaving in the third quarter of the game the other day. It was so ugly. Harris inside.
He sets the tone for the Boston Celtics. If Red had left, the crowd would have left. So there's no chance he was going to walk out.
But admitted it was one of the greatest comebacks he'd ever seen. Ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Jefferson. Red on hand once again here at the Fleet Center.
In typical Red fashion, too, Mike. Yesterday at practice, he told us first 3 quarters were lousy, but he loved the fourth quarter. He's still a coach.
Somebody asked him, was it one of the greatest games? He said, no, the game was awful for 3 quarters.
He liked the outcome, and he liked the fourth quarter.
Boston bouncing back here in the second quarter. Pierce knocked away. He thought he was fouled. Kenny Anderson with a foul. So Anderson picks up his second and the second team foul on the Celtics. So Anderson and Tony Delk each with 2.
Reached in. Paul Pierce had a gripe. Kerry Kittles caught him on the arm. Kenny Anderson did such a great job defending Jason Kidd on Saturday. Antoine Walker just gets out and gets behind the New Jersey defense.
The Celtic defense has certainly picked up here in the second quarter. Van Horn steps back, and Keith Van Horn puts it in. Van Horn never got into the flow in Game 3, was in foul trouble early, and really struggled throughout. Finished with just 6 points. He already has 7 in this one.
Well, a lot of people are contributing for the Nets. 7 different Nets have scored, only 3 Celtics.
Eric Williams gets it back. Shot clock winding down. Williams just kind of flipped it up there. Van Horn the rebound.
Boston again very disjointed on the offensive end. When anybody other than Antoine Walker or Paul Pierce has the ball, doesn't look very good right now.
Nets have cooled off a bit from 3-point range. After hitting their first 4, they're 1 of their next 7. Walker, high arcing shot. Walker and Pierce have 26 of the 29 Celtic points.
Well, that's the way it usually is for the Boston Celtics, but I know Jim O'Brien would like a little bit more involvement from the supporting cast.
Supporting casts have picked up the Celtics on the times when they've struggled. Mark inside, blocked by Battey. Kidd gets to the ball first. And there's the hustle of Jason Kidd.
That is a perfect example of what Jason Kidd did. He saw the ball up in the air. He just sprinted in and grabbed it. You can't teach that kind of basketball instinct.
Kidd, 9 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. Pierce inside, trying to hang on to his pivot foot. And a 3-second violation called against Boston. So the Nets will get it back.
Jason Kidd, he's there. You see, he sees the ball. He knew exactly where it was going to come back. He sprints to it and gets the finish.
No knock on Kenny Anderson, but Anderson's flat-footed while Kidd is going right at him, and that's the beauty of Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd doesn't know what flat-footed is.
drive inside. Bad shot. And Pierce with the outlet. Made a good move, but just kind of flipped it up there. Walker has the feeling going early. Van Horn sticks with him well that time. Anderson spotting up. And a loose ball foul called against New Jersey.
You just see the New Jersey defense converging on Paul Pierce every time he has the ball, and also on Antoine Walker. Obviously, that's where you have to focus your defense if you're playing against the Boston Celtics. The difference in the fourth quarter, Mike, they didn't get to Paul Pierce quickly enough. Paul Pierce had the ball, and he had enough time to split the defense before the trap got there.
His quick decisions were vital. That foul on Aaron Williams will be his first, second team foul. So Williams will sit down. Todd McCullough back in the game. Kenny Anderson takes a rest. Anderson struggling from the field early, 0 for 5. 8-point Nets lead. A little over 6.5 remaining in the second. Pierce inside and a foul.
Great execution on the side out of bounds. They ran a curl play looking for Paul Pierce coming around the screen. He's wide open. The help's too late getting there. Paul Pierce strong to the rim.
Van Horn, his first foul. And I know you said he's too good a shooter, and he certainly is, and he's a good three-point shooter. But when he takes it strong to the basket, good things usually happen. Either he gets fouled, he makes a basket, or they come and he dishes it off for an open layup.
Absolutely. And Paul Pierce said, he acknowledged that Jim O'Brien had told him that before the game. He said, you got to make quicker decisions, and you have to take the ball to the basket. He did that in the fourth quarter, and he's done it so far tonight.
After trailing by as many as 14, they've cut it to 5. Kittles rushed the shot, puts it in. Tough shot because Pierce contested it well. And Kerry Kittles now with 8 points.
Kerry Kittles actually had a very good game going Saturday afternoon until the fourth quarter.
Maybe his best playoff game until that fourth, but of course it's pretty important as Pierce turns it over. Kittles for 3. Tony Battie able to take it away from McCullough. Just past the midway point of the second. Tony Delk dribbles it off his foot. And we'll have a timeout on the floor. The Celtics have responded. Although they turn it over for the 7th time, they've cut the lead to 7. Just under 6 to play here in the second.
Hit it right down the up end. What was that?
Yo, I guess it's for the best that I ain't come back. Today my checks are small, I don't pay much tax. They say these young guys is athletically better. I play today in wet sweat with a sweater.
What's happening?
The game is fantastic, but sometimes it's a bore. So I'ma hit the spot with my crew and chill and sip on the cause.
The wait's almost over. A powerful new SUV, built by Honda, is on its way.
Oh, credit card bill. There's interest rates. Just get a Capital One no hassle card. Lowest fixed rates you can get. So who's getting rich off my credit card?
Someone living large off your interest payments? Get a Capital One no-hassle card. It's got the nation's lowest long-term fixed rates, no balance transfer fees, and no telemarketing.
What's in your wallet? Jason Bourne has a past he can't remember.
I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going.
Skills
I don't have any papers.
he can't explain. And a danger
You've got a Black Ops agent who's off the reservation.
he can't outrun.
I want board by sundown.
Based on the international bestseller,
This is not going to stop.
Matt Damon.
He's trained, conditioned. Find him.
The Bourne Identity. Rated PG-13. At theaters June 14th.
The wait's almost over. A big, powerful SUV, built by Honda, is on its way.
War Emblem has done it again. Here comes War Emblem! War Emblem to win! He wins the Preakness, and it's on to the Belmont for a triumph, the Triple Crown.
Now he looks to make history and become the first horse in nearly a quarter of a century to win the Visa Triple Crown. The Belmont Stakes, June 8th at 5, 4 Central on NBC.
Boston Celtics have cut a 14-point lead in half. They trail by 7 just past the midway point of the second quarter. The two all-stars for this team sometimes get a lot of help from their supporting cast, and sometimes they carry their team.
1 for 13 is incredible. It's not the rest of the team. Rodney Rogers is the only other player who's scored. Paul Pierce is putting the ball on the floor. He's getting looks. He's got to beat 2 guys to do it, but he's working. That's great execution out of an out-of-bounds play. Antoine gets one in transition off the dribble. He gets one again in transition by running the floor. The looks are not coming easy. Got to bounce it, got to beat 3 people. Walker and Pierce are getting it done as always, but they need some help.
Pierce has carried over his aggressiveness from the fourth quarter of Game 3. We asked Antoine Walker, what did Pierce say to you after you gave him that emotional plea? And he really lit into him. He said, thank you. Kenyon Martin kind of falling backwards, although he likes to take that shot.
He seldom shoots a conventional jump shot.
Back in the game with the 2 fouls. And fires away. Kittle's able to grab the board.
You got to change sides of the floor. Tony Delk's mistake was not reversing the ball. Both of these coaches are always preaching change sides of the floor. You have to swing it to make the defense work. You can't stay on one side.
Make the extra pass. That's what Jim O'Brien has been telling his team. Shot clock winding down. Van Horn. Eric Williams defended him beautifully. And Walker with a rebound. New Jersey has moved the ball well. They have 12 assists on their 15 field goals. Pierce spinning inside. Strip gets it back. Eric Williams steps up. And Kittle's helping out on the boards. Kidd gets inside. Won't go, but a foul. Tony Delk in the vicinity. They call it on Delk. That's going to be his 3rd. So Walker, meanwhile, picks up his 3rd.
I'm not so sure. It looked like Dick Bavetta gave the signal 8. I may be wrong. I think he called it on Antoine Walker, which would be a huge call.
So Walker does pick up his 3rd. You saw Walker kind of lean in there. Wasn't much of a touch, but enough to send him to the bench. So he's got 3 fouls, not only with the 15 points, but he's got 4 boards, couple of assists. Kidd hits the first free throw.
And Mike, we just made the point. The Celtics can never afford to play without Antoine Walker. Doubly so tonight because no one else is doing anything other than Paul Pierce.
Kidd knocks down both free throws. And that's 6 of 7 from the line. Celtics 8 of 11. The shooting numbers, excuse me, PJ, 43% for New Jersey, just 37% for the Celtics. They have not shot well in this series.
37 is exactly what they're shooting for the series.
On cue, Pierce knocks it down, and the Celtics within 7.
Well, look for Paul Pierce. Somehow they have to force him the ball. The Nets know that, and also maybe Kenny Anderson in some pick and rolls.
Kittles to Martin, knocked away, but a foul. And Martin will shoot 2. Tony Battie.
I'm not sure this is the exact matchup Byron Scott wants. Todd McCullough on Paul Pierce. There's a term for that. It's called a mismatch.
Pierce now with 16 points.
I love Todd McCullough, but he should not be guarding Paul Pierce on the perimeter.
He'll be the first one to tell you that. McCullough's got a great sense of humor from Winnipeg, playing in his 2nd straight Eastern Conference final. Did a nice job last year for Larry Brown and the Sixers, but wanted to get more playing time and wanted to be a part of a team that was building. And after Jason Kidd was acquired, he's like, this is not a bad place to sign. And that was one of the top moves for Rod Thorne in signing the free agent.
Great signing. I think a lot of GMs are going to be looking to trade for Todd, get to the Eastern Finals next year if you have Todd McCullough.
Pierce double, draws the foul. And Pierce getting to the free throw line. McCullough picks up his 2nd. Walker stays on the bench with the 3 fouls.
Well, this has got to be a concern for Byron Scott because his team's got to realize the ball's going to go to Paul Pierce. Jim O'Brien loves to put Kenny Anderson in pick and rolls when either Pierce or Walker are on the bench. But right now, you better focus your defense on number 34.
These two continue to dominate. even more so than normal. 52% of the Celtics offense, and right now the two of them have 33 of the 36 Celtic points.
Mike, you and I both went to Fordham, but that's more than 52%, I'm pretty sure.
6-point New Jersey lead. It's 92%. Our statistician Dave Priest tells us. Ball knocked out of bounds. Dick Bavetta is going to say stays New Jersey ball. Byron Scott with a quizzical look, and
a little bit of contact right there.
That's what his look was for. 10 on the shot clock as the inbound. Van Horn. Kittles, wide open three. Nails it. Terry Kittles, his third three-pointer after not hitting a single one in the first 3 games.
Terry Kittles is too good a shooter to continue to struggle as he has.
And the lead back up to 9. Walter McCarty lost it out of bounds. And another turnover for the Boston Celtics. They're 8th.
Walter trying to do a little too much. That's not his game.
McCarty getting some extra time again with Walker on the bench with the 3 fouls. Entry pass to Martin. Blocked by Tony Battie. But a little too hard. If he just kind of blocked a little softer, McCarty was right there to grab the ball.
Somebody that used to wear the green and white, and I think wore number 6, knew how to block shots. He'd block them, and he'd keep them on the floor. Tony Battie has really done a good job patrolling the middle. He's such a good help defender.
I mean, it looks good, but you can regain possession if you just take a little bit off him. Kick gets inside. Van Horn. Good move from Van Horn to get rid of Rodgers, but Van Horn can't find the range. Kenyon Martin with a rebound. Van Horn now 3 of 9 from the field.
Offensive rebounds, extra opportunities for New Jersey. That's been a key for the Boston Celtics.
Great pass from Jason Kidd. And although Van Horn's not shooting well, he's been very active.
Van Horn's already done a lot more than he did Saturday, but he couldn't stay on the floor. Mikey was in foul trouble every time he reported in.
Pierce double team, out of control. And he gets fortunate there. Then Byron Scott very upset with Dick Bavetta on the call, as is Kerry Kittles. The foul is on McCullough. That's his 3rd. And the Nets in the penalty. And we'll have timeout.
Jason Kidd breaks your defense down. Anytime he penetrates, he finds the open man, and his net teammates know enough to move without the ball when Jason has it.
Fly somewhere in the Acura TL Type S.
How's your retirement plan performing? Sun America can help. Just ask your financial advisor. Sun America, the retirement specialist.
2 points is 2 points. Don't be a show-off. I don't care if you slam dunk. I don't care if you shoot a layup. 2 points is 2 points. All you gotta do is take a short shot, box out, rebound. You ain't got to dunk on everybody. Forget about the theatrics. All you get for that is two. You ain't scored 2 points your whole life. Who you gonna listen to? How about yourself? Obey your thirst. Sprite. Hey, yo, Kobe, you think you're getting some tickets? Courtside? Yeah. Come on.
If you think you've seen Vanilla Sky,
Wake up, man.
think again. See it on DVD and get insightful, never-before-seen special features created by the filmmakers. Open your eyes to Vanilla Sky. Own it today.
Life's a ball, if only you know it. And it's all just waiting for you.
Introducing Cool Contact Towels from Old Spice. Cool down anytime, anywhere.
There's such a lot of living
the storm in New York. Coming up on Verizon Wireless at the half, we'll hear from Shaquille O'Neal as the Lakers head to Sacramento for tomorrow night's Game 5. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. Plus, Peter Vesey is in the house. He's got some news and notes for us. We're going to get Tom and Pete's take on the first half here, where the Nets have an 11-point lead, which, as we all know, doesn't mean anything at this point in the game.
Are we sure Mike Breen's doing the game and not Rod Serling? This is eerily reminiscent of the game on Saturday. The mental scars seem to be doing well. How will they be in the second half?
I'm just impressed that Byron Scott has lost that deer in the headlights look that he had in the last game. He must have heard that hunting season is open.
And the wit and wisdom continues here from the studio. Back to Mike, PJ, and Lewis in Boston.
Welcome back to the Twilight Zone as New Jersey leading by 11. This time at 2.5 to play in the second. You have balance on one end and dominance on another.
As long as you get it done, but the problem right now for the Celtics is Antoine Walker, who's 15 points, is sitting on the bench. So Paul Pierce needs some help, and he needs it before halftime. They do not want to be trying to set another NBA playoff record.
McCullough on the bench with 3 fouls for New Jersey. Pierce not even close. So each team with 1 player with 3 personal fouls. Pierce now 6 of 8 from the line. It's the line 8 times already in the first half. Well short again. Rogers the rebound, blocked by Keith Van Horn. Nets again playing very strong defense as they did in the first 3 quarters of Game 3. Kittles. Look at Pierce dive on the floor. Kidd wide open 3. Petit throws it ahead to Rogers, and Rogers gets past Martin. Martin should not have gone for the steal there. Kind of a dangerous pass from Petit, but it works out rather well for the Celtics.
Great effort by the Celtics. You had Paul Pierce and Eric Williams on the floor on one side. Tony Petit working the opposite sideline.
Under the 2-minute mark of the first half. Kidd. Oh, perfect pass, but Kittles can't finish. Gets his own rebound. Kidd steps back and throws up a brick. Kidd now 3 of 8. The players look a little fatigued out there right now. Guys grabbing their shorts.
Well, you've got a group that's not used to playing together.
Tony Petit, he loves that baseline. His first points of the game. He's got 5 boards. And the Celtics again within 7 with a minute to play. Opening half here of Game 4. Keith Van Horn. Delk tips it, but right to Kidd. Kidd trying to draw the foul. Van Horn inside. And Keith Van Horn playing a very aggressive game for the New Jersey Nets.
Well, the effort is there by the Celtics, but they have to do a better job of cleaning up the boards. At least on this play, it paid off. Tony Petit with a great save. Rodney Rogers comes up with the ball and eludes the defender and gets an easy look. Tony Petit, Mike Breen says he loves the baseline. There it is. Good penetration, gets an open look.
This is the first free throw attempt of the series for Van Horn. That's when you can tell he's not being as aggressive. Had not been to the line prior to missing that one. Eric Williams picking up the foul. McCarty comes back in. Byron Scott says sometimes with Keith Van Horn, it's about just gets hesitant and is indecision. But when he's just aggressive and takes his strong catches and makes his decision right away, he's a different player.
Well, he's like so many players. When he knocks that first shot or 2 down, his confidence goes up. The other thing that's been a problem, Antoine Walker does a pretty good job when he defends Keith Van Horn. He's physical and he really gets into it.
Van Horn 10.7 boards. 8-point Jersey lead. Van Horn is on Pierce. Does a good job. Ball denial. Excellent pass from Rodney Rogers. Tony Petit to finish.
That looked like it might have been a little bit of zone. They were trying to deny Paul Pierce, but the other players zoned up. They forgot the middle of the zone.
Rodney Rogers with 3 assists in the first half. That's a 3 for Harris. And Tony Delk, the littlest guy out there, comes away with a rebound. So the Celtics will hold it for the final shot as the 24-second clock is turned off.
Maybe a few too many three-point shots for the Nets.
Pierce inside. Won't go. Second shot misses. Harris the rebound. And there's the buzzer ending the first half. Started off very strong for the New Jersey Nets. They went up by as many as 14. Celtics cut it to 4 at one point. Then New Jersey went back up by 11. And right now it's a 6-point advantage. A strong first half, though, overall for the Nets, including Kerry Kittles, who's with Lewis Johnson.
Right, Mike, thanks a lot. Kerry, once again, a lead slips away as we look back to Game 3 now. Here you were up by as many as 14. Are you concerned about not being able to hold these leads on the Celtics?
Well, no, not at all. I mean, the Boston Celtics are a good team. We know we're not going to knock them out in one punch. This is this 48-minute game. When we realized that from the last game we played hard and competed. Tonight's going to be the same way.
Now, there has been a positive change for you. You came in 0 for 17 from the three-point line, but you're 3 for 5 today. How much better does that feel to be able to have the basketball go in for you?
Well, it feels good, no question about it. I just stick with it and just keep playing my game. My game is a spread the defense type game, shooting the ball. I'll continue to do that.
Okay, Kerry, thanks and good luck in the second half. Mike Breen, back to you.
All right, Lewis, excellent ball movement from the New Jersey Nets. 14 assists on their 17 field goals. And they lead by 6. Again, it's Pearson Walker dominating 33 of the 42 points for the Celtics. Coming up, Verizon Wireless at the half. Hannah Storm, Tom Tolbert, Peter Vesey with reaction to the first half. Plus, we'll hear from Lakers center Shaquille O'Neal and preview tomorrow's Game 5 of the West Finals. That's coming up right after these messages. Halftime at the Fleet Center. New Jersey leading by 6. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
You definitely cheated. You definitely cheated.
Yeah. Where did I cheat? You were in the water on it. I was not in the water on it.
Show him the scorecard. Forget golf. Maybe you're a ping pong man.
What's wrong with you?
She's looking right at you, man.
I know.
Killian's Irish Red. One look says a lot.
The all-new Civic Si from Honda. It figures.
I've been riding in Buick and Cadillac the most of my life, and Superior is an excellent place to come to buy an automobile. Because the people here, they treat you royally, and the service is outstanding.
At Superior Buick Cadillac, all pre-owned vehicles have passed a 157-point inspection and come with a 3-day buyback guarantee. Stop by today for details.
Come see my friends at Superior Buick Cadillac.
Think of e-business as a game. You got players, you got management. You got opponents who don't always play by the rules. This game takes strategy and the ability to move that metaphorical ball that is information with more money on the line than in any other game that's ever been played. E-business isn't just a game, it's the game. So if you're going to play, play to win.
In the beginning, man created 3 types of game shows. Those that tested intelligence, strength, and strategy.
Now, 20,000 years later, man has found a way to combine all 3. Dog Eat Dog, Mondays after Fear Factor on NBC.
This is Verizon Wireless at the half. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Halftime in Boston, the Nets lead the Celtics by 6 in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Hannah Storm back with Tom Tolbert and Peter Vesey, and certainly there appears to be no carryover or hangover from the Game 3 for the Nets.
If they lose this game, it's going to be because Boston is a better basketball team. These guys didn't go into the tank. They came out strong early. They were hitting shots. They look confident. Every game. I mean, there's so many games throughout the NBA season where somebody has a 14-point lead, they cut it to 6 or 4. So to me, that's not that big a deal. What is a big deal is how they come out and played and how they kind of carry themselves with a little bit of confidence. So if they do lose, I don't think it's because of Game 3. It's just because Boston's better.
Shooting very poorly, though, their jumpers at the end of the half.
Now, you got to give the Nets credit. I mean, here they set history, made history by losing a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter last game, and now they have a chance to put a positive spin on history if they win this game. But I felt right from the beginning of this series that the team that's more physical, the team that's able to survive the brutality, is the team that's going to win. But Tom, three key guys have not scored for the Celtics. Delk, Kenny Anderson, and Eric Williams. They're 0 for 13. They do not beat the Nets unless they get something out of these guys. Their stars have to make these guys better.
Well, it's like Walker and Pierce got in the truck, and they forgot to hitch up the wagon. It's like the other guys are like sitting behind. Hey, wait, what about us? We're here.
Yeah.
They do need to jump in and chip in a little bit.
And Walker's got 3 fouls, so if he gets in foul trouble.
Got to get him easier shots.
Right. Okay, Peter, you were here yesterday with some news, and we're going to just follow up on that, talking about the Cavs shopping Andre Miller. What else do you know about that?
Well, the Cavaliers got in touch with me after I said that they were shopping him, and they deny that they're actually shopping him. They are certainly taking offers from teams. Not that they want to do that, but they did tell Miller that they want to re-sign him, but they don't want to re-sign him now. They want to max him out a year from now. Obviously, the kid wants it now. He doesn't want to take the risk of playing a season, maybe getting hurt, and blowing a lot of money. So his agent, supposedly, has put out the word to other teams that, hey, get us out of here. You know, he's available.
And they were working out LeBron James, right? If we hear it's
that's right.
I mean, it's, you know.
That was in the paper last week that, you know, John Lucas brought in LeBron James, a high school junior, to work out with the Cavs. Well, the league has picked up on that. Did not like that at all. They've been doing an investigation on how that came about. You might look for the Cavaliers to be heavily fined for that next week.
Think they brought in little juice boxes for LeBron for after the workout?
Yeah, right. Orange peels. Orange peels.
Jello's brand pudding snack. It's like working at a junior. That's ridiculous. Come on.
Well, you know our friend Peter, he always throws cold water on all the rumors that are floating around out there. Okay, here's one. You know, Houston getting the #1 pick in the draft, making a trade with Denver. Denver sending McDyess and a #5 pick to Houston for Mo Taylor and Eddie Griffin and the #1.
Okay, Hannah, that's out there, but it's not true. Both teams deny that that's being talked about. But the fact is, McDyess is available. His contract is up after this year. He's got an actually, he's got an out clause in his contract, and he's going to take it. There's no doubt. And they might be more acceptable to dealing him at this point, Hannah, because he stiffed the servicemen last week. He was supposed to make that trip with the Nuggets over to Europe to visit the servicemen. He did not call in. He did not say he was not going. He had committed to it, and he was a no-show. So, I mean, that has really angered management.
Yeah, wow. Okay, when we come back, a conversation with Shaquille O'Neal. The Western Conference Finals move to Sacramento for Game 5. That's tomorrow night. Quite a dramatic holiday weekend in the NBA playoffs, and a couple more chapters in what has become a Memorial Day tradition of clutch shots and fantastic finishes.
Gotta be a catch and shoot. Here it is. Smith with the catch and the shot. The big goal. I love this guy. He came through.
Harper's on Miller. McKee gets it in the middle for the win. Into Sean Elliott. He fires the three.
Can you hear me now? Good. 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 Can you hear me now? Good.
To make the best national network even better, we'll do just about anything. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Sons and daughters of every hometown, playing this great game from street corners to cornfields.
I am USA Basketball.
And this summer, we will come together in this nation's heartland to take on the world.
We are USA Basketball.
Watch the USA Basketball team compete against the greatest players from around the world at the 2002 World Basketball Championship. For tickets, call 1-800-4NBA-TIX or log on to 2002worldbasketball.com.
And welcome back. The Western Conference Finals resume tomorrow night in Sacramento. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. The tip set for just after 9 o'clock Eastern. After yesterday's dramatic Laker victory, Jim Gray spoke with Shaquille O'Neal.
Hannah, thank you very much. Well, the excitement still hasn't worn off here in Los Angeles. Of course, the headlines, the newspapers, and the radio all talking about Robert Horry, Shaquille O'Neal, and the Los Angeles Lakers' big victory yesterday. Shaq, Robert Horry, have you just come to expect it of this guy, or what? What is with this man?
I've been knowing Robert for a long time, and he's hit a lot of big shots in his career, and yesterday was an even bigger shot.
Now, it's set in a bit today, and you guys, did you feel when you were down 24 like the championship is teetering, like maybe our reign could be coming to an end?
No, not really, because, you know, we made a lot of mental mistakes, and that team over there, you know, they shoot the ball very, very well. Every time we made some mistakes, they just capitalize off our mistakes. So we just have to limit our mental mistakes, limit our turnovers, and, you know, just keep fighting. And when we got down, you know, we just wanted to cut it to 10, cut it to 5, and, you know, just try to win the game.
What percent are you? I mean, it's obvious to the fans, to everybody who watches these games, that you're nowhere near the dominating guy that you were a year ago and even earlier in the season. How much of the injuries taken out of you?
I'm good enough to do what I do. I'll never make an excuse. I'll never sit here and say I'm 40, I'm 50. It doesn't matter. When I'm on the court, I'm going to play hard. Those that know me know I'm giving it 1,000%. And we just have to keep playing.
So you're not limited, or you've learned to live with your limitations?
Nobody does what I do. I've been playing through injuries my whole career, putting up numbers, and I will continue to do that. Doesn't matter what percent I'm at or you think I'm at.
When you go up to Sacramento, you guys have played well up there in the past. They now are playing at an extreme level. How much do you think it will take out of them what occurred here by the comeback that you guys were able to perform?
We know that we can do whatever we want. We just have to be consistent. Just have to play good defense. And we play well at that place. And we play better when it's us against the world. And we just have to go up there and get one.
You gonna smile today?
For what? I'm talking to you.
That brought the smile. That's all we wanted, Hannah. That's the story out here in Los Angeles. Everybody except for Shaq seems to be smiling and happy and celebrating.
That was a pretty good line, and a lot to celebrate. And Robert Horry, I mean, you just love this guy.
I do love him. I mean, this is a guy he's well grounded. He never gets too high when they win. He never gets too low when they lose. He doesn't look at basketball as a business. He doesn't look at himself as being above anybody because he can make some big shots. He looks at it as a game. And the Lakers have had some great clutch players in their time. Jerry West, Mr. Clutch. James Worthy, big game James, right? This guy, the bondsman, bails everybody out. Bails how many teams out?
But wouldn't you agree that he's able to bail them out because he has Shaq, and when he was with Houston because he had Akeem Olajuwon. When he was with Phoenix for a year, he had nobody, and he couldn't get it done. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a good player, but he's only clutch in respect to that he has somebody else to get him that shot.
I think that
I don't
was
think
true.
he would be clutch if you gave him the ball and said, go do something for us.
I think that was true in past years and even maybe past playoff series. But in this last series or two, he has become the third leading player on this team. He's a star now. He's not a regal role player. He has become a leading man.
As he was with the Rockets in their first title.
20
many
rebounds in a
moons
game,
ago.
20 points in a game. Forget about his great makes. He's doing everything else.
So we don't agree with you.
We can argue that.
I won't say sorry yet.
We'll debate it in the commercial.
Put the blueprints on the statue.
All right. Turning to tennis, the first day of play at the French Open saw 12-seed Pete Sampras lose to Andrea Gadenzi of Italy. Again, the French Open, the only Grand Slam title Pete has not won. In fact, he hasn't even won a tournament of any kind since Wimbledon in 2000. And on the women's side, Venus Williams breezed to a 6-3, 6-3 win over German Bianca Lamada. Defending women's champ Jennifer Capriati and 99 men's champ Andre Agassi begin their play tomorrow. And a reminder that NBC's coverage of the French Open begins next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. And coming up next, it's back to the Fleet Center for the second half. Between the Nets and the Celtics, New Jersey leads it by 6. You've been watching Verizon Wireless at the half.
This has been Verizon Wireless at the half. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Can you hear me now? Good.
NBC this summer's new and different. Spy TV's back every Tuesday. You've never seen hidden cameras do this, like a limo on the NASCAR track. Here they come! The wrong way. Turn right! And check out our valet Parker. And see you later, Mom.
My son's in that party.
And these ladies show up to fix your car.
Do you have a jack?
With host Allie Landry. Spy TV, NBC Tuesdays at 8, 7 Central.
When I walk outside, the first thing I do is look up to see what's happening with the weather forecast, what's happening with the weather, the clouds, the climate. I became very aware of what clouds do. I developed somewhat of a sixth sense for what's going to happen with the weather just by looking outside, the cloud formations, how things are changing. By learning it that way, it gives me a big advantage when a storm is approaching Kansas City.
Here's your forecast, 63 degrees with scattered showers throughout the day.
All right, hey, we got Chad coming in from Wall Street. Chad, what's happening out in the market?
The S&P is trading at heavy volume as the Dow is up and the NASDAQ is up.
Looks like everything's looking up today. We got Chopper John coming in with a traffic report. Chopper John!
Yeah, Jim, you want to board the Old Mill Parkway?
I love Chopper John.
M-Mode, the next generation of wireless, is here. How will you use it? Welcome to M-Life from AT&T Wireless.
Our manufacturers have too much inventory.
Oh, that's bad.
No, that's good, because Watson's is having a factory surplus sale.
Pools, spas, tanning beds, and patio furniture, all at reduced prices.
Pools of all shapes and sizes to fit anyone's budget. 24-foot pools, only $12.99.
Spas and tanning beds are 20 to 50% off.
Oh, that's good.
No, that's bad, because this sale is limited.
Guaranteed lowest prices on patio furniture.
6 months, same as cash.
That's good.
You're right. That's Watson's.
Brian Greenwald, NBC 41 Weather in depth.
You name it, he'll race it. Sprint, Indy, stock, go-karts, anything with wheels. Tony Stewart loves to race cars and race hard, sometimes too hard. But this year he's racing with focus and restraint in his quest for the NASCAR championship. Can Tony keep his cool as he eyes racing's biggest prize? NASCAR returns to NBC July 13th.
Halftime of Game 4. That's leading by 6. Good balance from New Jersey. Meanwhile, Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker doing the domination for the Boston Celtics as the Celtics try and go up 3-1 in this series. Hi again, everyone, along with PJ Carlissimo, Mike Green on hand. Bottom line is Nets, that huge collapse, record-setting collapse. They showed you a little something the way they came out in this game.
Well, they did, Mike, and you said in the beginning the leader was going to set the tone. Jason Kidd did just that. He got the team going initially, knocked down a couple of three-point shots. We're really not used to seeing that. But the assist, as always, he gets other guys involved. He's got 5 assists. Rebounds, we're used to that. He sees it, goes right in, grabs it, and finishes. Who's doing the job for Boston? No surprise whatsoever, the superstars. Paul Pierce, when he's not double or triple team, got a couple of looks, and he really got them going. Antoine Walker is rebounding. He's out. He's running. The main players are stepping up. The numbers speak for themselves. Jason across the board. Paul Pierce boarding. Antoine Walker, a little bit of everything.
And the New Jersey Nets, who have been awful from three-point range throughout the series, 6 of 16, including that hot start. They lead by 6. Third quarter coming up right after this timeout.
You can depend on cars that last. Chevy will be there.
you stole from a blind guy? Well, what are you going to do for an encore there?
I think I may kick some puppies. How's that?
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Did you steal that guy's dog, too? Is that whose dog that is?
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Chevy. The cars you can depend on. The cars that last will be there. By Adidas Climacool, giving you 360 degrees of ventilation. Feel the breeze. By Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time. And by Hewlett-Packard. HP Digital Imaging. When it's this easy, why not?
Lewis Johnson back inside the Fleet Center with just 24 minutes left, so who knows what'll happen? Throw the remote controls out of the window. Listen, I talked to the Celtics just a few moments ago. 33 points between Pierce and Walker, only 9 from other players. Coaches told me that they've instructed their players just to keep shooting. They believe that their shots will fall in the second half. And as for the Nets, a 14-point first-half lead fizzled to 6. Jason Kidd told me these 3 things. That's what he talked with his players. Keep patience, number 1. Number 2, play defense. And 3, stay aggressive. Not doing those last 2 in Game 3 is what cost them. Right, Mike?
That's certainly the case, Lewis. Aggressive and physical. We heard Pete Vesey at halftime saying that's the key to the series, and the Nets have done that. They've come out and played very physical here in the first half of Game 4.
16 three-point shots. Graphics correct. It's the Nets taking all the threes. Boston, not nearly as many as usual.
Kittles has to put it up. Shot clock winding down. Kittles off the mark. McCullough the rebound. Reverse side. Can't finish. And Tony Battie grabs it.
Well, Kenny Anderson got a great look first possession, Mike. I really think some other Celtics have got to contribute.
Well, they have to get some help. Although Pierce and Walker are playing superbly. Walker, of course, starts the second half with the 3 fouls. Kidd has been hearing the boos pretty much every time he's touched the ball in the 2 games here at the Fleet Center.
Who's on the road or cheers for a great player?
A sign of respect. Kenyon Martin dumps it in. Now, Martin was the guy who was very, very honest after Game 3. He said, it feels like we lost the series. He was very emotional. I mean, he's that kind of player.
Well, I think we got a true soundbite from him. Other players were saying the right thing. Kenyon was saying what they all really felt.
Kenny Anderson looking for his first field goal, and there it is.
I like Kenny's decision. The jump shot didn't go in the first possession, so he takes it to the basket.
0 for 6 to start. Finally gets on the board there. He was 0 for 7 to start on Saturday, and then that strong fourth quarter. Martin, meanwhile, comes right back, and it's another.
Kenyon Martin was 1 for 7 in the first half, Mike. He's heated up, obviously.
2 minutes gone by in this third period. Celtics are going to take a commanding 3-1 lead in the series. Game 5 will be Wednesday as Martin picks up his 3rd foul back in New Jersey. So 3 on Martin, 3 on McCullough, 3 on Antoine Walker.
Well, you got 2 players who like to bang right there. Kenyon maybe a tad too aggressive. First 2 or 3 times, Pavetta let him go. He finally blew the whistle.
Pierce inside. He does that so well going to his left hand.
He switched hands, and the thing I like, he waited till Todd McCullough hit him. He absorbed the hit, then he released the ball.
And he has not waited until the 4th quarter to have a big game. He's got 20 points already.
Well, he'll still have a big 4th quarter. He just got a big 3 to start.
Van Horn steps back for 3. Heath Van Horn, again, not shooting sensationally, but he's been a very active, aggressive player here today. 13 points and 8 rebounds for Van Horn.
7 for 17 from the 3-point line for the New Jersey Nets.
Anderson and Kidd with his 5th rebound. Kerry Kittles goes right at Pierce, and New Jersey comes out strong. They're back up by 11.
I don't know what Byron Scott tells his team before the game and at halftime, but they come out first and 3rd quarter ready to play.
Crowd a little anxious as Martin kicks in. Shot clock's at 15, so it will remain there. Again, PJ, we talked about, very impressive the way they came out in the first half, but the mental part of the collapse probably won't really come into play until the 4th quarter as Pierce comes up way short.
Well, I think it's there. I think they had to cross one hurdle, and that was the way the game started. They obviously did a great job there as Kerry Kittles is forcing Jim O'Brien to call a timeout. His guys are not listening to what he's talking about at halftime.
You said that you knew Jason Kidd would come out strong after that collapse, but the question was with players like Kittles and Van Horn. Well, Kittles and Van Horn have a combined 28 points, really helping out in the scoring department. And New Jersey back up by 13.
Kerry Kittles not settling for the jumper on the first trip. This time he pulls up and knocks it down in transition. The Nets are off and running.
So you sure this is okay? What if someone calls?
What if someone calls?
Sometimes you feel like being dependable. Sometimes you just want to go for a drive. Chevy Impala.
I'll be there. Jerky?
Can be predicted.
What's coming?
Double homicide.
Somewhere en route.
The guilty arrested before the law is broken.
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks.
The system was never wrong.
Tell me exactly what it is you're looking for.
Flaws.
Until it came after him.
You don't have to run. You don't have to chase me.
From Steven Spielberg.
He set me up!
Tom Cruise. Minority Report.
You're in a lot of trouble, John. There is no question.
Rated PG-13. June 21st, only in theaters.
I'm just not good with the ladies like you, Cedric.
All right. Try this on her. Hi, I'm Paul. You have beautiful eyes.
Hi, I'm Paul, and you have beautiful eyes.
I'd love to take you out sometime.
Love to take you out sometime.
So how much?
So how much?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Memorial Day, Steven Spielberg and Stephen E. Ambrose present a gripping war story told by the men who were there. The Price for Peace with Tom Brokaw, tonight, 8/7 Central on NBC.
Spy TV's back with all new hidden camera action. See you later, Mom.
My son's in that party.
Spy TV, NBC Tuesdays at 8/7 Central.
Kerry Kittles and Keith Van Horn really playing well after that disastrous collapse in Game 3. And New Jersey by 13.
Jason Kidd, as usual, finds Keith Van Horn. The Nets came out smoking. They made their first 4 threes. They're 7 for 17, believe it or not. They came in shooting 17% in this series, 41% tonight. But the bigger surprise, 17 attempts.
Not afraid to take him. One of the worst three-point shooting team in the playoffs thus far. Blocked by McCullough with his third block shot. So McCullough a presence on the defensive end. Van Horn again aggressive to the basket. A little indecisive on whether he's going to pass or shoot, but he draws the foul. And he'll go to the line.
Well, Keith Van Horn was watching our graphic, and he wanted to get another 3 off, Mike, but they closed on him. They did a good job, the defense, making him put the ball on the floor. Antoine Walker, but Tony Battie comes in a little too aggressive. Keith back on the free throw line.
Again, he did not attempt a free throw in the first 3 games, and that is his third. A solid game for Van Horn as a non-factor in Game 3. The inconsistency has been the big knock on Van Horn. Very talented, very skilled. And Byron Scott wants him to play with anger and with emotion more often. This is the largest lead of the game now for New Jersey. Pierce quickly erases that with a 3. And that ends a 9-0 run.
You cannot let Paul Pierce or Antoine Walker away from you for a split second. If they get a look, they'll get a 3 off.
23 for Pierce. Fighting over the screen. Martin wide open, way off the mark, and Walker the board. Pierce, Eric Williams for three, way off. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by Van Horn. That's the beauty of Antoine Walker. You know, we talk about Kidd in his rebound and starting the break. Walker can do the same thing.
He did, but Jason Kidd did a great thing. He jumped out on Paul Pierce as if he was going to draw an offensive foul and forced Pierce to throw it to Eric Williams.
Pierce drives to the goal. Hop step and puts it in. Splits two defenders.
I was wondering how you were going to describe that. Hop step was perfect.
25 points for Paul Pierce. The sellout crowd once again chanting defense. They were treated to an historical game on Saturday. They want another comeback here today. Martin, quick shot. Walker chips it to Battie. Both teams right now shooting at around 40%. Anderson decided to bring it back out
because he was well defended.
Walker yelling at Tom Washington. Felt Martin foul him. Patino puts it in. And a 7-0 run from the Boston Celtics.
Byron Scott with a call. This is that high, wide offense looking for cutters in the lane.
Martin inside, hard foul. A very hard foul from Tony Battie. And Kenyon Martin will shoot too. Walker is very upset with official Tom Washington. He felt that Martin was fouling him down the other end.
Well, here's why he's upset. Well, that's good defense. Kenyon Martin does this all the time. I don't think that's going to bother him. Kenyon Martin's going to take mark fouls anytime anybody else has a layup. He didn't even feel that.
He's been serenaded by the crowd. Reminder, next Saturday at 3 Eastern, the French Open returns to NBC. For American Andre Agassi, a French Open victory in '99 made him only the 5th male player in tennis history to complete the career Grand Slam. Will this be his year to win it all again on the famed red clay? French Open returning to NBC next Saturday at 3 Eastern. 9-point lead. Pierce on a pull-up. Kittle started down floor and gave up the offensive rebound, but Walker can't take advantage.
Byron Scott always talks about that. When the Celtics get an offensive rebound, they get a quick free.
Kittles for three. Kerry Kittles with a terrific turnaround, especially from downtown. His 4th three-pointer. And the lead back up to 12. And Kittles with the steal. Pierce tries to foul him from behind. And Kerry Kittles with a 20-point game.
Well, I said in the open, other players are going to have to show up. I wasn't concerned with Jason Kidd. The entire New Jersey Net roster has showed up.
A little roller coaster right now as Jim O'Brien calls a 20-second timeout.
Where's Kerry Kittles been? He's here this afternoon, and he's shooting a three with his old confidence. Now some great defense. He reaches around, knocks it loose, and goes coast to coast for the finish.
Kittles with 9 of his 20 points here in this third quarter. And New Jersey back up by 14 points. Kerry Kittles didn't play at all last season, was on the injured list, rehabbing his right knee that underwent 4 knee surgeries, all on the right one, in 3 years. A lot of people didn't think he'd play again. Rod Thorne wasn't sure he'd ever play again, but Kittles played all 82 games this season and is having a terrific outing here in Game 4. Rogers gets inside, and it draws the foul. Rogers will go to the line to shoot 2. As Todd McCullough picks up his 4th.
Todd McCullough bailed him out. He had pretty good position right there. He's got to make Rodney shoot that over him. There was no need to reach in and foul.
The numbers for Todd McCullough as Rogers will go to the line. When the Celtics obtained Rodney Rogers and Tony Delk, there was a message Chris Wallace, the GM, and Jim O'Brien got together. Chris Wallace said, what do you think about the deal? O'Brien said, let's do it. And they acquired him for Joe Johnson, a talented rookie, Milt Palacio, Randy Brown, and a first-round pick. But the message was, we've got a chance to do something this year. Let's get better. And those two have made this a better team.
The message was now, not next year.
Rogers rattles in the second. He continues to shoot well from the line. 12-point New Jersey lead, 5 minutes left in the third. Aaron Williams has come on for the Nets. Kittle's trying to go back door, but good ball denial for Paul Pierce.
Pass wasn't there. He forced it. It was a good idea, but the opening wasn't there.
Anderson setting it up the other way. Anderson gets inside.
Great head fake by Kenny Anderson. He made Jason Kidd think he was going over the top in the pick and roll and changed direction and went to the baseline side.
And it's at 10. Celtics have never led in this game. They've trailed by as many as 15. Kittles fires away. That's an off-balance shot. Ball knocked out loose. Last touch by Van Horn. Kittles has played well, but that one he's kind of floating to his right, shooting towards his left.
Players will tell you they're feeling it. They're going to get a little more aggressive.
Mister has Kidd on him. That's the mismatch you talk of. Rogers for three. Kittle's doing a little bit of everything. That's his 5th rebound. He also has 4 assists and leads them in scoring with 20. Van Horn can't connect. Kittle's the offensive rebound knocked out of his hands by Kenny Anderson. Anderson penetrating. Wild shot. Rogers is fouled as Aaron Williams picks up his second.
Well, that time Kenny didn't make a good decision, but on the prior play, he made an excellent decision. He tries to come over the top. You see, he makes Jason Kidd think he's going to use the pick. Instead, he goes right to the open side. Surprised the New Jersey net defense. Kenny Anderson always has been very creative and great penetrator.
Was always a big scorer in high school as McCarty comes in. Big scorer at Georgia Tech and a big scorer when he first came into the league. Told us the other day, I know I'm not going to be the scorer anymore. He says it was a tough pill to swallow, but I swallowed it. I've got an ego, but he knows for the betterment of the team, he's got to look to pass first.
Wow, but it's a great weapon because you know when you're struggling, and the other Celtics are struggling today, Kenny Anderson has the ability to step up and provide some offense.
Byron Scott calls a timeout. With just over 3.5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Nets trying to even up the series. They lead by 9.
Hello?
Is she there yet?
What?
Dude, you were so wasted. You asked Sharon to move in with you.
Yeah, right.
Sweetie, this is so exciting! Yes! Oh, hey, that's so sweet. This little pony used to work in my other apartment. I might have to change the wall pink.
Quiet while the movie's playing.
Ha! Look what we got! Ha! Look what we got!
Kev, thanks for the test drive. Man, I got lost.
Engineer Kevin Gray knows when it comes to an Envoy, there's no such thing as a quick spin.
Look what we got!
I just kept, going.
The legend was born in 1965 in the storied swamp of Florida. And as befits the legend, it began with a searing question.
Coach asked why we didn't go during the game.
The players weren't adequately hydrated and their performance suffered.
As the Gators marched through the season, they drank a carbohydrate electrolyte beverage created by University of Florida doctors.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
In conditions ever make a salamander sweat, the Gators thrive.
Those boys drank that stuff and they became a second-half team. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
In 1967, when the Gators won their first Orange Bowl, Gatorade had arrived.
Today, Gatorade is the most researched sports drink in the world.
And it continues to fuel champions wherever they're found. humbly born on the hard-scrabbled gridirons of Florida, proven by generations of athletes. And just as the games never end, so the legend continues.
Next Sunday, Teresa Weatherspoon and the New York Liberty host Sherry Sam and the Miami Soul in a playoff rematch. The WNBA on NBC next Sunday, noon Eastern.
Jennifer Capriati. At last year's French Open, her stunning comeback continued as she won her second straight Grand Slam. Will she be the toast of Paris again? The French Open next Saturday, 3 Eastern.
New Jersey with a 9-point lead, 3.5 to play in the third. Jim O'Brien of the Boston Celtics, his team up 2-1 in this best-of-7 series, but he feels fortunate to be there.
And I believe out of 12 quarters, they've outplayed us 8 of them. And to be able to be up 2-1 is great for us. And, you know, I said to our guys, you know, we're not playing great basketball. I mean, not that we're playing bad basketball, we're just being outplayed a lot of the game. I said, that's not to take anything away from the courage that you guys have, because obviously you have a great bit of heart. I said, but we have to get back to where we're sharp in every phase.
Let's update it. Probably 9 of 14 quarters, and the way New Jersey playing in this one could be 10 of 15.
You're right. He knows how lucky he is. He shoots 34% in Game 2 and wins. He shoots 37% in Game 3 and wins. You can't expect to keep doing that.
Kenny Anderson, the long rebound. Rebounding numbers, Nets +4 in that department. Walker gets past Van Horn. Hard drive. That's his first points of the second half. A 7-0 run for Boston.
Antoine Walker is a hard guard for everybody, but especially Keith Van Horn.
Rogers with the deflection. Walker wanted a 3, but Van Horn, good job extending on the defense. Anderson trying to take Martin. Deflected out of bounds. This shows you the defensive ability of Kenyon Martin. He can guard pretty much anybody.
Kenyon Martin's a very versatile player. We talked about a tough matchup. Keith Van Horn's out trying to pressure Antoine Walker because you respect his three-point shooting, but he's got the agility and the ability to beat you on the floor and finish with his strength inside.
Van Horn and Kittle's getting a breather. 8 on the shot clock as Boston inbounds. Harrison Jefferson in the game. Walter McCarty. Nice head fake. Can't connect. Anderson, the offensive board. Quick move from Kenny Anderson. And they cut it to 5.
And he's back at Archbishop Molloy High School, Mike. It'll shake your head and go right to the rim.
Picks the spots beautifully. And the crowd fired up again. Can't hear the whistle too well as a reach-in foul called against Kenny Anderson. That's going to be his third.
Well, the second time Kenny Anderson has used a head fake. Look, I'm going to go outside. No, I'm not. He reverses and goes right into the rim. That's great creative offense.
He wasn't just a good scorer in high school and college. He was a great scorer, so he's got that ability. Shot clock down to 5. Jefferson knocked away by McCarty. Pierce called for travel. Good call from Tom Washington. But it was the defense that forced that turnover. 2 Nets were right around him.
Jason Kidd anticipated. You'll see him. He jumps right in front. There's the look. Jason Kidd's right there. He makes him change directions to avoid the offensive foul.
Again, the smart defensive plays from Jason Kidd. He sees the floor on the defensive end just as well as on the offensive end. Kidd inside. He just muscled that in.
Walter McCarty said, how come I didn't get an offensive foul?
Kidd now at 13 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. Minute and a half left in the third. Nets have answered all the challenges so far. Walker.
Pick and roll, and they forced the switch. There's no way Lucius Harris, he switched from Paul Pierce on Antoine Walker. Pierce recognized it.
Coming up on a minute remaining. They tried to pick and roll this time, but the Celtics defended well. McCourty knocks it away, but still New Jersey ball. 6 on the shot clock.
Jason Kidd is so strong going to the basket. He goes by Kenny Anderson. Walter McCarty tries to cut him off. Jason Kidd just barrels into him.
Kidd gets it inside, flips up a wild shot. He wanted to draw a foul. Walker, crossover move, inside, he's fouled. Kidd's upset. He thought he was fouled. Walker definitely was, and he'll shoot two.
Again, Antoine Walker puts so much pressure on the defense. When you know you got a guy coming at you who can pull up and shoot the three-point shot, you have to go out and close on him. But when you close on somebody that has the ability to beat you off the dribble, you open up a path to the basket. Good foul by Aaron Williams.
His third. Walker now with 20. McCullough on the bench with 4 fouls. So Walker and Pierce with 45 of the Celtics' 65 points. They've started to get some help. Rodney Rogers and Anderson. Anderson has awakened here in the third quarter offensively. And the 15-point lead has been cut to 3. Again, the Celtics have never led in this. It's been catch-up the entire way, much like Game 3.
Richard Jefferson's been very tentative, uncharacteristic of him.
Jefferson not that time, but he draws the foul. Rodney Rogers not pleased, but Jefferson will shoot. The rookie who's had his ups and downs from the free throw line.
The thing I like about Richard Jefferson, though, he's not afraid to step up and do things. Last possession, he was very tentative. That time he got caught in between, but he does not think or play like a rookie.
Rogers with his second foul, and Jefferson misses the first. Tomorrow night at 9 Eastern on NBC, Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals as the Kings host the Lakers. And, of course, back at Arco Arena, that series tied up at 2, 9 p.m. Eastern. Plus Game 5 of this series Wednesday night at 9 Eastern. That back in New Jersey. Jefferson goes 1 of 2. Nets lead is 4. Harris pokes it away. Good hustle from Harris. Celtics will have it with 13 on the shot clock. 24.6 left in the period.
Celtics are very kind to their fans, Mike. They kind of keep them sitting down for the first 2 quarters by the way they play. Them to save their energy for the fourth quarter.
Walker. That's a 3. Antoine Walker from downtown. 1-point game. The Celtics on the comeback trail again. Harris for 3. Big bucket from Lucius Harris.
I was going to say he shot it a little too soon until he buried it.
Final seconds. That'll count if it goes. Harris grabs the rebound, ending a wild third quarter. A 16-6 run for the Boston Celtics in the last 5.5 minutes of the period. Pierce and Walker with 49 points combined for the Boston Celtics.
Antoine Walker goes off tackle here, takes a hit from the defensive lineman, steps back, knocks down the three-point shot. Lucius Harris wanted this shot, and he delivered.
After trailing by as many as 15, Celtics cut it to 1. Right now it's a 4-point game as we get set for the fourth. We'll be back after these messages in a word from your local stations.
Introducing the world's first truck with 4-wheel steering. The new GMC Sierra Denali with 325 horsepower and quadra-steer. Beats everybody, forwards and backwards. From professional-grade people come professional-grade trucks.
NBA playoffs. New Jersey, Boston. Love it live.
Catch Jay with The Rock, NBC tonight.
Welcome, Mr. Lezak. We're glad to have you here. Tell us about the weather. Will it be fair and clear? Or will precipitation be coming from the west? Did you bring your dog Wendy? She is the very best. It's so nice to be together talking all about the weather. Welcome. Wendy to Mr. Lezak.
Plus sale. Pools, spas, tanning beds, and patio furniture, all at reduced prices.
Pools of all shapes and sizes to fit anyone's budget. 24-foot pools, only $12.99.
Spas and tanning beds at 20 to 50% off.
Oh, that's good.
No, that's bad, because this sale is limited. Guaranteed lowest prices on patio furniture. 6 months, same as cash.
That's good.
You're right. That's Watson's.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other dissemination or use of this telecast, or of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
In Game 3, the Celtics were down 21 entering the fourth. In Game 4, only a 4-point deficit as they get set for the final period. Moments earlier during their timeout, the Boston Celtics, Jim O'Brien, the head coach, he did all the talking, unlike in Game 3 when Antoine Walker was so emotional. O'Brien's a very unassuming man, but he also has a real quiet confidence about him, and he's secure enough to let the players talk in the huddle. This time, he did all the talking.
He also has great confidence in Antoine Walker, and that was appropriate what Antoine had to say on Saturday.
And now we'll see if Game 3 impact had anything to do in terms of a carryover to Game 4, because the fourth quarter will be crucial for New Jersey as Harris will go to the free throw line. And right now, we'll go to Lewis Johnson.
Mike, during that last timeout, Byron Scott's instructions were pretty simple. He said, we have to win this quarter. And he said, now we have to be aggressive offensively, as he looked at Jason Kidd and as he tapped Lucius Harris on the knee. He's expecting big things from both of them. But the goal, win the quarter. Mike?
Harris misses the free throw, and it stays a 4-point game. The last foul was on Paul Pierce, his second. Scott said he felt helpless in the fourth quarter at times. Game 3, as a player, it's much easier. You tell the players what you want, but they have to go out and execute it.
You need an out-of-body experience. You got to pretend what's happening is not happening and just look forward.
Here's good drive, can't finish, and Harris gets the rebound. No, he stepped out of bounds.
The tendency is always to look back. You remember what's happening, the lead slipping away, and that's what you dwell on. Somehow you got to find a way to look forward. I think the New Jersey Nets have done a great job for 3 quarters looking forward.
And also the fact that it's a close game, as he clearly stepped out. It's not like the big margin as Rodgers misfires. So in a close game, the focus is simply just on the next play.
No, the focus will be there. What we're going to find out is when this crowd gets involved and if this gets down to a 1-possession game.
5-point lead for the Nets opening minute here of the fourth. Jason Kidd. Jefferson with that high arcing shot comes up short. Williams nearly kept it alive, but Walker comes out of the pack. Walker driving hard, stripped but fouled. Kenyon Martin getting his hands in there. That's his fourth. First team foul, and 2 free throws coming up for Antoine Walker.
Well, the Celtics certainly remember what was good to them in the fourth quarter. Get the ball into the paint, take it to the basket, get to the free throw line if you can't score.
But a missed free throw. Martin's putting up his thumbs for a jump ball after he clearly whacked him on the arm. See, he's fouled out of a couple, now with 4.
Kenyon a spot in arena football, Mike, in the offseason. It'll work out perfectly.
Martin, during the regular season, fouled out 8 times, so it's certainly not abnormal for him to be in foul trouble. Kidd gets inside, beating Martin, deflected, but right to Aaron Williams, who's becoming Mr. Fourth Quarter for the Nets.
Well, he was the glue on Saturday. Had the Nets won, Aaron Williams would have been the MVP MVP, and he'd have been the only one who got any votes.
Here's, of course, the big fourth-quarter player for the Boston Celtics. 19 in Game 3 in that final period. Rogers' pass finds its way to Delp. Walker keeps it alive. Shot clock at 2 with 3. Just short. That's not a bad attempt considering the circumstances. Here comes Harris down the other end. Blocked by Pierce. And it's still New Jersey ball.
Both coaches and a lot of players have been questioning calls all evening, but the referees are clearly letting them play. Lucius Harris thought he was open.
Kidd. Anderson does a good job contesting the shot, but Kidd knocks it down.
The reason Byron Scott wants to win this quarter, he doesn't want to see how his team's going to react in a one-possession game.
New Jersey back up by 8. Tony Delp. Kidd knocks it out of bounds. You felt that Delp touched it last, trying to plead his case to Tom Washington. But it's going to be Celtic ball with 12 left on the 24.
Players got to settle down a little bit and let the officials make the calls.
Harris on Pierce. Williams quickly doubles. The ball movement. Kenny Anderson inside. And Anderson draws the foul. Jason Kidd picks up his second. And Anderson will go to the line.
Kenny Anderson, just the way he did in the second half on Saturday, is stepping up and playing his best basketball.
And Anderson, very emotional the other day when he talked about the kind of season he's had and the rebirth of his career, best he's had in several seasons. And he talked about the man that's made the difference. Jack Curran, the longtime legendary coach at Archbishop Malloy back in Queens, New York, was Anderson's coach when he was in high school and got him through a lot of the tough times. And Anderson said his impact, there's no way he'd be where he is right now without Jack Curran, one of the great high school coaches. As you know, PJ, so many of the players have stories about high school coaches. The NBA coaches make a lot of money. They're on TV. Same for the college coaches. But the high school coaches, in many ways, make the biggest impact of all. And Curran just the perfect example of what kind of impact you can make.
It's always been the best level to coach at because you teach and you get to really work with young men and young women.
And the foul goes to the basket. So Tony Battie picks up his fourth, and Aaron Williams will shoot free throws.
And we talk about all the other acquisitions, the Jason Kidd trade, signing Todd McCullough, the big draft trade, getting Jefferson and Jason Collins. This was a great acquisition also for Rod Thorne. Aaron Williams has really been a contributor for the New Jersey Nets.
Aaron Williams, who in 8 years in the NBA, has played for 7 different teams. Also played on 2 CBA teams, a couple of European teams. He is the epitome of a journeyman. He's not going to be journeying a lot anymore. The Nets are going to have him around for a long time.
He's a good player. It's got to be his contract. He must have just fitted well into some deals because he's contributed in a number of those stops.
Martin does a good job backing away and forcing the turnover. That's the 11th turnover for the Celtics. They've done a good job after a bad start in that department.
Lewis Johnson said what Byron Scott talked about, open up the lead. The reason he wanted to win the quarter, take the crowd out of the game. The Nets are doing that right now.
9-point New Jersey lead. Williams blocked by Tony Delp. When the ball is in a player's hand, the hand is part of the ball. That's in the rule book, although Williams arguing it.
There's a lot of sore hands today.
Walker, and one! A circus shot from Antoine Walker.
Good entry pass by Tony Delp. Antoine splits the defenders. That's high off the backboard and drops it in. Aaron Williams tried to come over and help. That almost went up to the 24-second clock.
Fourth foul on Aaron Williams. Walker with 27 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, and he brings the Celtics within 6. Still plenty of time to go. Just under 9 minutes remaining here in the fourth. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Final. Celtics leading 2 games to 1. Pierce with the steal, and no one ahead of him. The Nets had trouble with turnovers. in the fourth quarter of Game 3.
Exactly right, Mike. 6 fourth-quarter turnovers for 11 points. Broke their backs on Saturday.
They board 2 here in the fourth quarter of this game here on Monday.
It's not just the turnover, it's the points off turnovers. Paul Pierce comes up with the steal. When you cough it up in the backcourt, it costs you.
27 for Pierce. 8.5 remaining in the fourth. Celtics have climbed within 4.
Lakers, Kings, pivotal Game 5 tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
The all-new 2003 Lincoln Navigator. There are those who travel, and those who travel well.
Every Egg McMuffin starts with a grade A quality egg and ends with a smile.
We did great. We did great.
No, you're right. We did do great.
We're in really good shape. Are those the guys who went in after us?
Yeah. I wonder how they did. They've got Michelob Light.
I've been playing hoops and my shoulder keeps popping. You get that?
No. Nothing? You say you gonna go up like that?
Yeah, layups.
There's your answer.
Oh, no.
The great taste of Michelob Light makes any occasion seem special.
How safe is your retirement plan? Sun America can help. Just ask your financial advisor. Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Can you hear me now? Good. 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 Can you hear me now? Good.
To make the best national network even better, we'll do just about anything. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Lincoln. There are those who travel and those who travel well. By Michelob Light. The great taste of Michelob Light makes any occasion seem special. By MGM's Wind Talkers, starring Nicolas Cage in a John Woo film, rated R. And by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
How good was Paul Pierce on Saturday in the fourth quarter? You see what he did in the regular season, second in the NBA. He's been the best in the playoffs, 8.8 a game, but 10.3 in this series. Saturday he was spectacular because he took the ball to the basket. The outside shot wasn't going, so he went to the rim. He either finished or got himself to the free throw line. He scored 8 of the last 10 points in the game. He outscored the New Jersey Nets himself 19-16, 6 for 7 in the fourth quarter when it mattered.
Let's check in with Lewis Johnson.
Well, Mike Green, after Jim O'Brien finished drawing his offensive players on the board, he said this, and this is a powerful nugget. He said, take the ball to the rim. He said the reason the Nets lost Game 3 was because in the fourth quarter, they were not willing to step up and take the charge. So he said, go to the hole. Mike?
They're aggressive right now. Kid way off the mark. Delk defended him well. Still New Jersey ball with 5 on the shot clock. Kid again felt he was fouled. Looks over at Tom Washington. Pierce thought it should be Boston ball.
Everybody's upset, guys. We got to play.
Shot clock winding down. Harris. Van Horn can't finish. And Petit comes away with it. Tony Delk nearly fouled Harris, but did a great job adjusting after the pump fake.
There's the switch. Kenny Anderson's going to want to go to Antoine against Jason Kidd.
Martin looking to double team. Walker gets inside and puts it in. Celtics back within 2.
I thought Steve Nash was out of the playoffs.
Still plenty of time minutes left in this fourth quarter. Martin, nice feed to Williams. Williams can't get a hold of it, though.
Maybe a little too hard. A great look, though.
And a bump by Kenyon Martin. That's his fifth. And the fourth team foul.
You talk about circus shots, Mike. Kenny Anderson recognized the switch mismatch. He goes to Antoine Walker. Falling down, he throws it up with his left hand. Hail Mary.
He's got such a soft touch for a big man, even on those shots when he's falling down. Pierce. Jason Kidd expecting to perhaps be more aggressive, looking for a shot here in this fourth quarter, and does right there. But they've tried to take, and they did this in game 3. They really forced him to get the ball out of his hands. They doubled every time he had it.
They doubled him on the pick and roll, which they always do. They made the other Nets step up. They couldn't do it other than Aaron Williams on Saturday.
Again, Walker has Kidd on him on the switch. Tony Delk for 3. Blocking foul on Kenny Anderson. That's his fourth. And the third team foul for the Celtics.
Jason Kidd looking to go by. Kenny Anderson moving his feet, trying to get in front of him. Dick Bavetta says you weren't set. Down here, that's a mismatch. Jason Kidd is too big and strong for Tony Delk to cover on the box.
So they put the shot clock at 14. 6:31 remaining left in this fourth quarter.
There's still a lot of time, Mike, but Celtics had 2 possessions in a row where this crowd wanted to erupt. Paul Pierce had a good look, then Tony Delk had that look. The crowd was waiting, but the shots didn't go.
So they're just checking with the clock. There's your time left in the quarter, and on the shot clock, which is now back up to 20, and they had not reset the shot clock. Jason Kidd having another strong game, but he'll need to make the big plays down the stretch. Wanted to go back door, but hesitated, and Van Horn throws it away.
Nets have done a good job taking care of the ball most of this game. They've got to do the same in the fourth quarter.
That's their 4th turnover already here in the fourth. Pierce, offensive foul. Kidd draws the charge down the other end, and Pierce picks up his 3rd.
Well, we talked about what a good job Paul Pierce did, beating the double team before the help got there. Boy, that's close. Jason Kidd jumps in, just got his feet set. Paul Pierce, as always, playing against at least 2 defenders. Tough call. Block charge is the toughest call an official has.
Kidd setting up the offense as we approach the midway point of this fourth quarter. And Kidd throws it away. 5 fourth quarter turnovers. Is it happening again for the New Jersey Nets?
It certainly is. The question is whether the Celtics can convert the turnovers into points. They did so on Saturday.
Not as big a lead as New Jersey had in Game 3, but they've led by as many as 15 here in the second half. Walker drives to the goal. Can't finish. And Kidd off to the races. 4-on-2 numbers. Kidd flips it up. And he draws the foul. He'll shoot 2. And Kenny Anderson will pick up number 5.
Keith Van Horn did an excellent job, Mike, that possession. He made Antoine Walker work to even get the ball, and then he really contested him on the drive. Jason Kidd, the one-man fast break, coming at you.
So far, the Nets have answered every challenge. They still lead by 4, but 5:45 remain.
I'm Ben Yazzie. I'm a code talker.
The Corps developed the code based on the Navajo language. Japanese have busted every code we've thrown at them. You're to pair with a code talker.
Yes, sir.
He's a good kid, Joe. Take care of him. Remember that.
Under no circumstances can you allow your code talker to fall into enemy hands.
Think you could do it, Joe? Would you kill him if you had to?
We're not gonna make it out of here.
Protect the code at all costs.
I can't for
Nobody's gonna die.
From director John Woo.
Relay the coordinates! This game must sink!
It's my responsibility!
Come on!
Nicolas Cage. Wind Talkers.
We saved a lot of Marines today.
Rated R. Starts Friday, June 14th.
I have something to tell you.
You first.
No, you go.
I'm not ready to get married.
Okay.
So, what was your news?
I won the lottery.
$63 million. Think about it this way, man. After taxes, that's only like $28, $30 million. That's it. Yeah.
Life is best told over a great-tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Shannon? Hey, it's Steve. What's going on?
The all-new 2003 Lincoln Navigator. There are those who travel and those who travel well.
He's won it all. 4 NASCAR championships, 2 Daytona 500s, 58 trips to victory lane. But now he finds himself in the biggest slump of his career. Can Jeff Gordon regain the fire and finesse on the track that made him one of NASCAR's greatest drivers? NASCAR returns to NBC July 13th.
The Celtic faithful hoping for another big comeback in the postseason. Their team down by as many as 15 here in the second half. Byron Scott team, of course, the collapse in game 3. Up by 26 in the third quarter. Up by 21 to start the fourth. They had that meltdown in the fourth quarter. Just disastrous numbers in that fourth period, PJ. They're playing much better here in the fourth quarter, but still turning the ball over.
Except for that column right there. The turnover's the only thing that can hurt them right now. They are defending. Boston's only 3 for 9. They've continued to defend. Jimmy O'Brien talked about taking it to the basket, but they helped out and they drew the offensive foul. But again, we still have almost 6 minutes left. If it gets close, if the Celtics take the lead and this joint starts jumping, we'll find out.
And once again, free throws could make the difference between the win and the loss. Both teams will be in the penalty on the next foul. And Kidd calmly hits a pair, the lead back up to 6. That was key for the Boston Celtics in game 3, as the Nets were in the penalty with about 9 minutes remaining, and Boston scored so much from the free throw line, 18 points from the line in that fourth quarter. Anderson gets inside, blocked by Aaron Williams. Aaron Williams continues to make big plays for the Nets and continues to play crunch time minutes.
Quick double team, they force Paul Pierce to give it up.
And a reach-in foul called on Paul Pierce. That's his fourth, and they're in the penalty. So Kenyon Martin will go to the free throw line.
Here's the difference. The double team is getting there quickly tonight. Paul Pierce has the ball before he can even dribble. He's confronted with 2 defenders. Now a third comes into the picture. That means somebody else has to step up. They didn't do that on Saturday. They let Paul Pierce beat him on the dribble himself.
Kenyon Martin misses the first in this series, or for the playoffs, I should say, shooting 73%. Aaron Williams sits down. McCullough back in. Martin misses a pair. Crucial free throws.
Free throws are always enormous, Mike, but especially in the fourth quarter, you called it.
6-point New Jersey lead. Good double team on Pierce. McCullough with excellent help. Pierce for 3. And Jason Kidd grabs his 8th rebound.
They're making Paul Pierce work for his field goal attempts.
Kerry Kittles, of course, had that strong first 3 quarters in game 3. He's had the same thing here in game 4, but had a disastrous fourth quarter. Kittles gets free. Off balance shot. Not a good one. And Tony Delk grabs the rebound.
That's just good defense. Both teams struggling to execute now on the offensive end.
Walker with the ball fake. He's doubled. Here's Tony
so important because he can manufacture his own shot.
Delp and Anderson on the floor at the same time. Martin. Kittles trying to get free. Kerry Kittles inside. Pretty move from Kerry Kittles, who's got 22.
Good patience, and even though Kerry Kittles is shooting the ball better, that's making the defense play him, and he's beating them on the dribble.
A playoff career high 22 points for Kerry Kittles, who has bounced back from that bad fourth quarter in Game 3.
When the offense is struggling, you need some initiation on your own. Tony Delp dribbles in, avoids the charge with Jason Kidd. Kerry Kittle, same thing. He uses the little screen, turns the corner, and beats the Celtics on the dribble.
So far, no meltdown for the Nets. They keep answering the challenges and lead by 6.
I hope he doesn't forget again.
Michelob Light. Anniversary.
Hi. You got the pizza, right?
The great taste of Michelob Light makes any occasion seem special.
We need your help, Mr. Hayes.
My twin brother was CIA.
We need you to stand in to him.
How long?
9 days.
That's not standing in. That's like going on tour.
On June 7th, Company's Coming. From producer Jerry Bruckheimer and director Joel Schumacher. Isn't this fun? Anthony Hopkins, Chris Rock.
Come on, man. You're James Bond. Show somebody.
Bad Company.
Give me a towel.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, June 7th.
At Kia's all-model sales event, you can get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% financing on a new car. Like the luxurious Optima. And the 5-star safety-rated Sedona minivan. What's even more attractive, they're backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
They're here for the all-model sales event? Mm-hmm. Did you tell them all-model means all car models? Good man.
So hurry down to Kia's all-model sales event and get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% financing.
Rebound O'Neal, coming up short. Ori for the win. Yes!
What a finish! Robert Ory's buzzer beater saved the day for LA as the Lakers tied it up versus the Kings. Now pivotal Game 5 in prime time. Don't miss a minute. Lakers Kings tomorrow 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, NBC.
Still over 3.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, but the New Jersey Nets continue to lead. They have led from the start by as many as 15 and trying to get back the home court advantage in this series. Obviously, it's important to these two teams, PJ.
These two teams have the best home court records in the playoffs. Boston is yet to lose. They've won 11 straight, including the regular season. The Nets are 6-2. That's what's at stake right now, the home court advantage.
Rodney Rogers for 3. It's good. The lead is cut to 3. Kidd doubled again. Good active defense from the Celtics. Kidd fires away. Williams tips it away and taken by Kidd. Kittles for 3. Way off the mark. And Rogers with the rebound. And Dick Bavetta blows the whistle. You couldn't hear the initial foul call on Jason Kidd. It's been so loud in here, you can hardly hear it. And Kidd picks up his 3rd. Free throws coming up for Boston.
This is what the home court advantage is all about. Rodney Rogers knocks down the 3. That ignites the Fleet Center crowd. They're back in the game. Unfortunate foul there in the backcourt. Boston with a chance to pick up 2 cheap ones.
Rogers from the line, 4 of 6 today. And misses a big free throw. It remains a 3-point game with 3:02 remaining. He's been so strong from the line in this series.
Both teams under 70% tonight, Mike, from the free throw line.
It's the second. Celtics within 2. Can they come from behind and win again? Kidd, stolen by Pierce. Pierce inside. Offensive foul. 5 fouls now on Paul Pierce. As the Nets step up and draw the charge.
Well, Paul Pierce is upset, but he just tried to do a little too much. It wasn't there. You could have had either of 2 New Jersey Nets draw the offensive foul there.
That's the second offensive foul Kidd has drawn on Pierce here in this 4th quarter. The defensive play of Jason Kidd. Van Horn. And he's bumped as he drives to the basket. Dick Bavetta looking at Antoine Walker, who better be careful. A technical foul would be just disastrous right now. And Van Horn will shoot 2. The foul is on Rogers, his 3rd. Van Horn, 3 of 4 from the line in this game. Had not taken a free throw in the previous 3 of this series. Overall, a good free throw shooter, 80% for the regular season.
Well, we wanted to see how the Nets would react in a 1-possession game. We've got the 1-possession game. The one thing that doesn't look good right now to Byron Scott, turnovers and missed free throws. That's not how you protect the lead in the 4th quarter.
New Jersey 5 of 9 from the free throw line in this 4th period. They are nursing a 2-point lead with 2:29 to play. Van Horn comes back nicely to hit that one.
The difference tonight, they're continuing to defend very well.
Rogers for 3. Way short. Kidd may have gotten a piece of it. Williams with the block on Anderson, and it's still Celtic ball. 11 on the shot clock.
Kenny Anderson did well to get the rebound, but Aaron Williams said, little man, you're not going to score in here.
Pierce on the drive. Blocked by Williams, but a foul. And Pierce will shoot 2. Aaron Williams with his 5th personal.
The difference this time, Paul Pierce had a lane to the basket. That's too late for the help to get there. Just as he did 2 days ago, Paul Pierce earns a trip to the line.
This is his first free throw attempt of the 4th quarter. He only has 2 points thus far in the 4th. The Nets have double-teamed Paul Pierce as he hits the first one. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, Game 5 of the Western Conference Final. Lakers and Kings all even at 2. They're back at Arco Arena. Pierce makes it a 1-point game as we approach 2 minutes remaining. And they are on their feet at the Fleet Center once again. Van Horn for 3. Puts it in. Keith Van Horn with a huge 3-pointer. And the Nets back up by 4.
You could see it in his body language. He stepped back confidently. Great execution. He never hesitated.
19 from Van Horn. Pierce, they look to double again. Gets it inside. Anderson blocked. And the tip in. Anderson with a second effort. The Nets desperately trying to hang on. Van Horn flips it up and gets the roll. Heath Van Horn back-to-back big buckets. And New Jersey back up by 4 with 1:31 remaining.
3 times in a row he stepped up. Mike, he put the ball on the floor and drew the call on the baseline, then the 3-pointer, and now he goes on the dribble again.
He has the last 6 New Jersey points. Pierce, quick move. Kittles plays him well. Kenny Anderson, the jumper. And he gets the roll. Exchanging baskets in the final minutes.
Players stepping up in the 4th quarter. You love to see that.
The crowd erupting again. Kidd being patient. transition. Martin against Pierce. Backs in, tough shot. Won't go. Walker the rebound. Rodney Rogers running the floor. Offensive foul on Rogers. Jason Kidd and Aaron Williams with terrific transition defense. And Rogers screaming at the call. Jim O'Brien irate.
Here's the look. He's outside the box and he had his feet set. Tough call, but I think Jason Kidd is there.
His quickness makes the difference there.
Keith Van Horn wants the shot. When you shoot it with confidence, that's most of the battle right there.
Van Horn getting it done on the offensive end. Jason Kidd on the defensive end. Nets by 2 with the ball when we return.
I am Emmett Smith.
I'm Emmett Smith.
I'm Emmett Smith.
I am
Emmett Smith.
I am Emmett Smith. No, really, I am.
Worried that the you shopping online really isn't you? That's why Visa's introducing Verified by Visa, a new security service that will help protect Visa cards from unauthorized online use with a personal password. This service is only available on select Visa cards issued by participating banks.
I am Emmett Smith.
Please.
To learn more and to check if your card is eligible for this service, go to visa.com/verified.
At Kia's all-model sales event, you can get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% financing on a new car. Like the affordable Rio, redesigned Spectra, and the rugged Sportage. What's even more attractive, they're backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
They're here for the all-model sales event?
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell them all model means all car models? Good man.
So hurry down to Kia's all-model sales event and get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% financing.
I'm so proud of this team.
What a great season.
What an infrastructure. One integrated machine. So, Coach, what are you going to do in the off-season?
Off-season? In e-business, there's no off-season.
No off-season?
See, this whole thing's just a metaphor. I thought it was an allegory. Well, allegory now is whatever. It's an endless season. It's 24/7. The clock never stops. No showtime without other time.
What are you guys talking about?
City illuminated by stars. They are the marquee attraction. Led by the perfect blend of power and grace, the Los Angeles Lakers have moved one step closer to a third straight title and a new NBA dynasty. The Lakers versus the Kings, tomorrow on NBC.
NBC Sundays, a real-life Law and Order, crime and punishment.
Suffocated him, buried him in the woods.
Real stories.
What'd he say to you?
You're never going to see your son again.
No actors, no scripts.
You understand those rights? Get him out of here.
Everything is real. The crime and punishment, a real-life Law and Order, coming to NBC Sundays.
Rodney Rogers picks up the offensive foul. The third charge drawn by Jason Kidd in this fourth quarter. His defense has been invaluable. And the Nets lead by 2. They have the ball with 49.7 left.
Boston came out running, threw it ahead to Rodney Rogers. Jason Kidd has his feet set. I like that call by Duke Callahan.
And again, Kidd he had a long distance to go to get in this position, but he's so quick defensively that he was able to get there.
Potential 2-for-1 situation for the Nets if they want it.
Again, both teams in the penalty and both with timeouts remaining. They get it in Kidd's hands. Van Horn, tough shot. Aaron Williams tips it. Walker comes away. There's about a 4-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. Pierce is doubled. And there's the foul. A late whistle, but a definite bump from Aaron Williams. And Pierce will go to the free throw line as Williams fouls out with 17.6 seconds remaining.
I'll tell you, there were a lot of bumps in this whole play. That's just too much contact in this situation. That's a good call.
The key there is he impedes the progress of Pierce, who is trying to make a move, and Pierce will shoot 2. Of course, Pierce has really struggled from the line. in this series.
But he made those big four, Mike, to close out game 2.
And he hit some big ones in game 3. He's 8 of 11 from the line here tonight. Williams is done. 6 fouls, and Pierce with crucial free throws. Even if he hits both, the Nets, you see they have plenty of time, 17.6 remaining, and they have a timeout plus a 20 left. Clutch free throws, and the Celtics have tied it at 92. Timeout, New Jersey. They battled back again. Not as big a deficit, but they were down by 15 in the third quarter. Trailed by as many as 9 here in the fourth quarter. And although they've never led in this game, the Celtics have pulled even.
Forget the meltdowns. The Nets answered the call. The Celtics have answered the call. This is what this series is all about. Two very balanced teams playing right to the last possession. Finally getting a break, Mike. The conference finals haven't provided any good games.
The big leads, and then the teams come back. Now again, the Boston Celtics are in the penalty, so any foul would send New Jersey to the free throw line. Obviously, for the Nets, they want to get it in Kidd's hands. What do you expect from them?
Well, I think it's harder to defend a team like the Nets. You think Jason Kidd will have the ball in his hands. With Boston, it's pretty simple. You know where they want to go, to one guy or the other. The Nets are harder to predict. They came out in the last timeout and went to Keith Van Horn, who's been carrying them recently, the last couple possessions. I think you got to put it in Jason Kidd's hand and let his initiative create the situation.
Throughout the postseason, Byron Scott has been just wonderful in diagramming plays during the timeout, and they almost work to perfection. He's been a master of that in the postseason. Let's see what he diagrams for this final play, this crucial play.
Well, the one danger against the Boston Celtics, Nets love to run a pick and roll with Jason Kidd, but the Celtics trap pick and roll. So you put Jason Kidd in the pick and roll, they'll double team him and try and get him to give it up.
Kittles will inbound. Kerry Kittles, along with Lucius Harris, Van Horn, Kenyon Martin, and Jason Kidd.
1:20 left. 20-second timeout left for the Nets if they need it.
Everyone on their feet at the Fleet Center. Kidd tied up. He doesn't want to give it up. Finds Harris. Harris drives, draws the foul, and he'll shoot 2. Lucius Harris with an aggressive move, and he'll go to the free throw line with 6.6 seconds remaining.
There aren't a lot of players who are going to sit there calmly and accept the double team and just wait and see who's open. Lucius Harris gets the ball and drives against the taller Tony Battie.
Harris 88% from the line in the playoffs. Knocks down the first. Nets back up by 1. That foul was on Battie, his 5th. Now Boston will still have plenty of time even if Harris hits this one, as they have 2 timeouts remaining. Clutch free throws from Lucius Harris, the oldest member of the New Jersey Nets. Knocks them both down, and a 2-point advantage.
Well, we said it would be easier to figure out. Just figure out which one. It's going to Antoine Walker or Paul Pierce.
Harris now takes off the mask, one that he's been cleared to take off, but because he's shooting the ball well, he's decided to play through it. He broke a bone on the side of his face during a game in mid-March. Likes the way it feels, and it certainly didn't bother his vision there. Knocks them both down, and now it's the Celtics' turn, and they have plenty of time to get off a good shot. All right, now if you're Boston, of course, so much made on the three-point shooting. Do you go for a 3 and try and win it?
I don't think so. Conventional wisdom is you play for the tie at home. 5 more minutes in front of your crowd, particularly when you've clawed back after trailing almost the entire night. I think Boston tries to take the ball to the rim, get Paul Pierce or Antoine Walker. They both shoot it well. They both put the ball on the floor well. They both shoot free throws well. You love to have 2 options like that available.
This one similar to last night. Lakers were down 2, went for the final shot, missed the 2-pointer, got tipped out, or he hit the 3. Boston would just settle for tying this up and go to overtime. It's been an uphill climb all game. They came out poorly again, trailed by 13 after the first quarter, trailed by as many as 15 in the second half. They were down by 9 early in the fourth, have battled back to tie it, but now Lucius Harris has given New Jersey the 2-point advantage.
Is Robert Horry in the building, Mike?
Rodney Rogers, Paul Pierce, Kenny Anderson, Antoine Walker, and Eric Williams back in. Williams has hardly played in the second half. He will inbound the ball.
Boston with the timeout. New Jersey in the penalty.
6.6 remaining. Celtics down 2, trying to take a 3-1 lead in this best of 7 Eastern Conference final. They get it to Pierce. Pierce makes his drive inside and draws the foul. And Pierce will shoot 2 with 1.1 remaining. 2 very critical free throws and 2 pressure-packed free throws.
You put the ball in your best player or players' hands. Paul Pierce got the choice, took it right to the basket. Great execution by the Boston Celtics.
Again, Pierce strong at the free throw line during the regular season at 81%. Strong early in the postseason, but has struggled in this series as Van Horn picks up his second foul. And a timeout call. Byron Scott out of timeouts, and the Celtics still with 1 remaining.
Well, that's their last timeout, so they're not going to get a chance to advance the ball. It's a little bit of a surprise. They want to ice Paul Pierce, I guess, or cover the rebound situation. But unless that scoreboard is wrong, Mike, the Nets do not have a timeout to advance the ball.
They're out. Of course, the new rule this year, even on a 20-second timeout, you could advance the ball. In past seasons, that wasn't the case, but this year you could have. Doesn't matter for Byron Scott and the Nets because they are done with timeouts.
Don't forget the box out. Todd McCullough, Kenyon Martin, Keith Van Horn get this rebound if there's a miss.
He's 4 for 4 from the line in the fourth quarter today. And now he really has to miss.
No more second guessing of Byron Scott. Whether that's why he missed or not, it looks pretty good.
The players can all come in on the release. Pierce has to stay at the line until it hits the rim. Van Horn, nearly a violation, knocks it loose. Walker thinking off the shot, no good. And the New Jersey Nets have evened the series.
Tony Batiste came up with the rebound, but he couldn't get it to fall inside.
A very impressive bounce-back win for the New Jersey Nets. They come back from the worst fourth-quarter collapse in NBA playoff history and get a huge road win to tie this Eastern Conference final at 2 games apiece. Pierce did a good job on the miss, PJ.
Did a very good job. They tried to box out, but Tony Batiste gets in there. He shoots a flat, hard shot off the rim. Antoine Walker got a hand on it. Tony Batiste got 2 hands on it and got a great look clearly before the red light came on, but it wouldn't go.
But, of course, the key there is the first missed free throw. And as we said earlier in the fourth quarter, the game could come down to the free throws. Both teams got on the penalty early. And Paul Pierce, who has struggled from the free throw line at times, misses a crucial one there. The first one, obviously, that one there is the second, and that's the one he missed intentionally.
The masked man, Lucius Harris, makes his 2 free throws. Paul Pierce unable to knock down 2 for the Boston Celtics.
Just a terrific win for the New Jersey Nets, and a couple of their stars from today standing by with Lewis Johnson.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Well, the Nets have silenced this Boston crowd. Let me pose the first question to you. After all of the drama that we've been through over these last games and even today, is it as simple as mission accomplished? You got the split?
Well, we did our job. Nobody gave us credit. They felt that the series was over due to Game 3. But we knew we had another game, and our job was to try to get home court back, and that's what we did.
Jason, talk to me about the element of patience. You said that was so critical in this game because you lost it in Game 3 in the fourth quarter.
Well, we did, and again, we learned from our mistakes. We were patient in the third and the fourth quarter, and down the stretch, we kept our patience. We never got flustered, and guys made shots when we had to, and the biggest things we got stops when we had to, and that's why we won this ball game.
How good did you feel when the threes were going down early in the first quarter? That seemed to give the indication that the team had sort of recovered from the devastating loss in Game 3.
Well, I think we all came out and we were loose and we made shots early. And anytime on the road you can make shots, everybody is going to relax. And it was the same game that we had, game plan in Game 3. We came out, but we wanted to finish it for 48 minutes.
When you look to this team, you see the veteran leadership in Byron Scott, who played 14 years in the league, and in yourself being sort of the Iron Man of the team. What did you do over the last 24 hours to help this team recover psychologically so you can come out and do what you just did?
Just relax. The game is fun. The game is supposed to be fun. And, again, everybody had counted us out. So, we weren't even supposed to show up. But we had our uniforms here, and we put them on, and we did what we had to do. That was to win a game on the road.
I'll let you go, man. There are a lot of people waiting for you. Here's Keith Van Horn hanging out. Keith, how tough was it for you to forget about all the lack of offensive production that you had and come in here and hit some big shots today?
Well, I knew that Game 2 was just an aberration. I really felt that, if I hadn't gotten in foul trouble in Game 3, I would have played much more effectively. So I knew if I could stay out of foul trouble tonight and stay on the floor, I was going to be effective out there.
With 1.1 seconds left, Byron Scott calls the timeout. What was the discussion in the huddle and how you might try and save this win?
Well, box out. And they still got the rebound. I mean, Tony Battia is so long, and thank God he missed that shot because we needed this win in the worst way.
Free throws. You and Jason were talking before the interview started that free throws will be huge. You'll need to do some practice on your free throws.
Yeah, we do. Neither team really shot free throws, and tonight we kind of canceled each other out. So obviously when the game's on the line, we need to make those free throws. And Lucius, at least, when he had the biggest shots of the night, really stepped up and made them.
Okay, so now it's an airplane ride back to the Meadowlands. Talk about the importance of winning this game and taking the series back home.
I really felt confident coming in today's game, and I feel confident going into Game 5. We're going to be back home. We're going to have a great crowd. They've been supporting us all playoffs, and we're going to go into the game confident as ever and ready to go.
And you expect to get the same type of playing time. It seems that Byron Scott has confidence in you even when things aren't going well.
Well, I just got to stay out of foul trouble, and if I do that and I'm on the floor, I feel I'll play effectively.
All right, enjoy your plane ride back. Good luck, and we'll see you in Game 5.
Thank you.
Okay, back over to you, Mike.
Huge bounce-back performance from Keith Van Horn. And again, the series now tied at 2 games apiece, so it becomes the best of 3. They'll play Wednesday night in New Jersey, 9 o'clock start right here on NBC, and then Friday back in Boston, so they guarantee a return trip to the Fleet Center. That's an earlier time at 7 p.m. and then Sunday, the time to be determined, but a Game 7, if necessary, Sunday back in Jersey. What can you say about the Nets bouncing back the way they did, and especially after blowing a lead again, yet hanging on?
Well, I thought they did a great job. They made the big free throw when it mattered. What impressed me was the way they defended in the fourth quarter.
So the Nets here in Game 4 get the road victory. Once again, the final score from Boston, 94-92. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m., the NBA playoffs continue with Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. The Sacramento Kings at Arco Arena hosting the LA Lakers tomorrow at 9 Eastern. That series tied at 2, and it'll be right here on NBC. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for the special Tom Brokaw documentary, The Price for Peace. New Jersey Nets never trailed, and they come back and just hold off the Boston Celtics. For PJ Carlissimo, Lewis Johnson, and our entire crew, this is Mike Breen saying so long from Boston. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
Tiger Woods, the most dominant force in golf. He's already won all 4 major championships in a row. Now he tries to pull off that amazing feat in the same calendar year. His next challenge, golf's greatest championship, the U.S. Open, starting Thursday, June 13th on NBC.
This summer, NBC is new and different with over 150 hours of original shows. Like Dog Eat Dog, a real-life Law & Order series, Crime and Punishment. Meet My Folks. The return of Spy TV. Natasha Henstridge and She Spies. This summer, NBC is new and different.
At Kia's all-model sales event, you can get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% financing on a new car. Like the affordable Rio, redesigned Spectra, and the rugged Sportage. What's even more attractive, they're backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
They're here for the all-model sales event? Mm-hmm. Did you tell them all model means all car models? Good man.
So hurry down to Kia's all-model sales event and get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% financing.
I don't think we should see each other anymore.
It's the rash, isn't it? Listen, the doctor said it's just temporary.
No. It's your website.
I need more content than that.
Our customers expect a lot from a website, because at Progressive.com, you can get our price for auto insurance and the rates for up to 3 leading competitors.
We want you to save money, even if it's not with us.
You could save hundreds. Call Progressive today.
It starts by rejecting the notion of what is and embracing what will be.
Passing by.
The all-new Aerial from Suzuki. It has more features, more standard horsepower, and better acceleration than Honda Civic and Ford Focus.
Drive on.
You knew this was coming. You just didn't know from where. Introducing the new Suzuki Aerial.
Get up and go.
Lease a Suzuki Aerial S today for $199 per month with only $18.49 to start.
An NBC special Memorial Day presentation from executive producers Steven Spielberg and Stephen E. Ambrose, honoring American heroes. A world premiere broadcast event taking you into the heart of battle with some of our bravest warriors.
As soon as they drop that ramp, you feel like you're the nakedest person in the world.
It is World War II, the Pacific Theater. Witness the battles you may never have heard of. Combat crucial to the Allied victory. On the front lines, soldiers so young, expected to do so much.
I was scared to death, I tell you.
Watching comrades fall.
I didn't know this kid, and I still remember him today.
Engaged in an extraordinary kind of warfare few could have imagined. And facing the terrible truth of war.
You've taken somebody's life, and it affects you.
Americans and Japanese, who once clashed in war, today embrace in peace. Now come along as they go back to the beaches, heroes in search of healing.
For over 50 years, I've had nightmares that I just can't describe. And I'm hoping to put these ghosts to rest.
Tonight, an NBC special made possible by a contribution from the Shell Oil Company Foundation. Price for Peace. Here now is Tom Brokaw.